Manufactured locally for the Carolinas. This is the Rob Brown Show. Get Rob only. Upstate.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in the Friday edition of the Rob Brown Show is under radio. This is the Fan Upstate. Howdy, y'all. What's happening? How is everybody? Welcome to the show. Hope that you are well. Had a great week. Ready to wrap it up strong on a Friday. My name is Rob Brown. Directly across from me on the other side of the metaphorical glass today is, of course, the great one, Lonzo, in charge of the radio broadcast. If you like it, he gets all the credit. If you don't, he takes all the blame. What up, Zoe?
Just looking at something that Adam Schefter just tweeted. More than 50,000 tickets were purchased by Bills and Chiefs season ticket holders. In the first 24 hours, they were for sale for the if needed neutral site AFC Championship game. So are you confident enough in your team that you would buy those tickets early if you had a team in there? You don't, but I mean, if you did.
Good one. No. For being honest with each other, no.
Do you get your money back if they don't go?
You could resell the ticket. Like, you're not going to get a refund from Ticketmaster or whatever. But you can resell the ticket. Problem is, if that is not the exact matchup, that game doesn't happen at all. It goes to one of the other sites, right? The only way it's in the ATL is if you get that exact matchup.
Buffalo and the Chiefs.
And the Chiefs, right. If either of the other two teams get in, then we know where that game gets played. At the home of the higher seed.
All right, I'm just curious if you get your money back.
I guess in this case, I would have to say the answer is yes.
So you get your money.
Yeah.
Would you, if you get your money back? I think it's worth it.
I would buy that ticket.
Yeah,
yeah. I think I would have already punched that ticket.
I did not buy that ticket, but still.
Why not? Well, because we can just go.
Well, we'll see.
I mean, let me rephrase that. We will put in for the media passes to go to that game. Right? Hey, like, if that game happens, we're putting in for passes.
Yeah, after what you pulled off yesterday, I have full confidence that you can get us into that game.
I haven't pulled it off yet.
Yeah, well, it's in the works.
The gears are in motion for us to be joined in the next 2 weeks by the head coach of the University of South Carolina, Shane Beamer. And if we play the cards right, hopefully we'll actually have him be joining us on the live stream, as a matter of fact. Hopefully we'll have him on the stream, either recorded or live, but we'll have him on video. So we'll let you know when I get that worked out. I had a conversation yesterday with a high-ranking communications official at the university. I'm not going to say who because I don't need nobody stealing that thunder. But hopefully we'll get Shane on. And I'm going to be real with you. He can clear up the air if he wants. If not, I'm happy to just talk football with the guy when he makes his Fan Upstate debut.
Yeah, me too.
There is no shortage of football to talk with Shane-O. So when we get that lined up, when I get the time that we'll be joined, I will let you know, but the wheels are in motion for that.
I got to say, if we were to go to...
Sorry about running out on you, but I felt like that was a phone call we both wanted to answer.
It's all right. I can handle it.
You're a professional.
Absolutely. I got to say, if we were to go to the AFC Championship game, and it was Buffalo, obviously it would have to be Buffalo and Kansas City, that might be a highlight for me for as far as sporting events goes.
So I would start with this. For me, because I don't have a dog in the fight, for me, I think it makes sense to get a press pass and go. For you, I think it makes sense to buy a ticket, right? Like, you're not, because you can't show up in Kansas City here.
Dude, I've played straight man enough. I can be in there and not cheer.
Do you want to?
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I'm fine. You see me at games? How expressive
True.
am I?
Fair enough.
How expressive am I?
Fair enough. Almost without fail, at every sporting event that Lonzo and I have been to, I get asked after the game, is Lonzo okay? Is Lonzo good? Is Lonzo having a good time? Because Lonzo he's in that moment. He's in that game.
I'm taking in everything.
Yeah.
I'm taking in the crowd. I'm taking in the production. I'm taking in both. I'm just there trying to take in as much as I possibly can. And if I'm jumping up and going crazy, I'm missing something, and I don't want to miss it. I could celebrate later.
Fair enough.
So yeah, I can be calm, cool, and collected inside the press box.
See, look, you flip that script. This is an NFC title game and the Saints are in it. I'm buying a ticket.
I haven't been in an NFL press box before either. So I mean that would be kind of cool. I'm interested in, food possibilities and all that kind of stuff too.
Not only are they dope, but from what I understand, Atlanta's new season has one of the best in the NFL. One of the perks of this gig is covering sports live. A, because press boxes are usually pretty good seats. And B, for the overwhelming majority of you who have never covered a game live, when you go to really anything, honestly, anything above the high school level, and even now I have learned around here at the high school level to some degree, media boxes are swank.
If we go, I'm not clinging to you, but I'm with you the whole time. I don't want to talk to anybody because there'll be nothing but famous people in there. And I don't want to talk to any of those people.
I will tell you this. When we went to so last season, I covered 2 Carolina games and a Clemson game. And the Clemson game happened to be Clemson versus Florida State. Now, you guys know that my love of this industry, my love of this business comes from being a fan of the business for as long as I have. And when I was broadcasting down in Destin, we were the home station of the Florida State Seminoles in the Florida Panhandle, which meant that Gene Deckerhoff, who was the voice of Florida State football, I think this was his last year in that role. Gene Deckerhoff, the voice of Florida State football forever. When we, I've listened to that guy, I've interviewed him, and if you want one of my favorite radio stories of all time was I realized if you play Madden, the voice of the PA announcer in the stadium, not on the game, but like how they have the ambient sounds in the stadium PA announcer in Madden for like 20 years. Gene Deckerhoff. And I asked him that on air a number of years ago. I was like, Gino, I was playing Madden, and I realized that you are the voice of the stadium PA in that game. It's my favorite cameo Easter egg I've ever picked out. And he started laughing. He's like, I've been the voice of Madden Stadium for 20 some odd years, and nobody's ever asked me that question before. And he told me the story of how he ended up being the voice. Like he just happened to be in Orlando when they were recording work and they needed a guy. And somehow they got to Gene's agent, and Gene's agent was like, well, he's already in Orlando. And he showed up to the studio. They scratched him a check to go into the studio and basically record PA Stadium lines for like 5 hours. Hilarious story. But I had never met Gene Deckerhoff in person, despite having listened to him for years when he was on my radio station down in Destin. And we got to halftime of the Florida State Clemson game last year, and I walked into, because Clemson does it nice. Clemson offers up Lonzo a pregame spread, snacks while the game is happening, a halftime spread, snacks while the second half is happening, and a postgame spread. They got you covered. It's all different. And so we get to the halftime. I log what I need to log. I tweet what I need to tweet. And I'm like, am I hitting up the free food buffet at halftime to see what the spread is? You're damn right I am. Walked over, and the line was Robert Griffin III, one of the guys from ESPN Saturday morning show, Marty McGee. I think Marty was there that day. Robert Griffin III, Marty from Marty and McGee, Gene Deckerhoff, and there were like 2 or 3 other like national television and radio people standing all in the line together. Just chatting it up. Normal dudes. Very, very cool. I suspect the AFC title game will have no shortage of those moments.
All right. To that end, I have a problem and I need some help in case we get to go. Is there a shirt like Under Armour or something that you can wear underneath your station shirt that will tamp certain things down so that they are not noticeable
just so we're clear
amongst peers? Because I
just so we're clear, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that have not picked up what Lonzo's laying down, Lonzo just asked me loud and like in a very public forum if I can help him control his nipples at a football game. That's what just happened?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
I mean, something that would help, things be less visible. I mean, I'm willing to lay down some cash to buy like Under Armour or something that would compress, I
just wanted to make sure that we are aware that Lonzo is asking about nipple control at an AFC title game.
If you had this problem and you're going to walk into a room with a bunch of people in there, and I'm sure it's climate controlled, but probably on the cool side. And the material that our shirts are always stinking made out of cause things to be a little visible. And I just don't want people to walk in and go, not notice me, not notice my hair, not notice anything but that.
Lonzo just said that walking into a room full of NFL celebrities, he knows that problem number 1 is the headlights come on.
I'm guessing
that's what's happening.
All right, Josh suggests pasties, but I'm thinking that that would rip hair off.
How dedicated are you to making sure that RG3 doesn't
Plus,
see your
I'm not doing that. I need some sort of compression shirt, copper fit or something. I don't know.
Listen, it's Friday, and the weird stuff comes out on Friday. If you would have
the weird is always here. Just sometimes I actually speak.
If you would have given me 1,000 guesses at what the opening topic on the show was going to be today, Lonzo's nipples would never have been a guess.
All right, I need some legitimate help here, though, because this would almost stop me from going. It would.
This isn't a shtick from Lonzo. This is not a conversation.
I am serious. I am serious. I don't really have anybody else to talk to about this, so get
a thick undershirt.
But it's. Stop it, Kevin. I would think that there's enough athletes in the audience that know about some sort of athletic thing that I could get that would help.
So this is going to be a day for me. Okay? Because Lonzo opens the show with, can anybody help me hide my nipples at an NFL game? And then I got, in response to that topic, a text from my mother that I have to censor that says, well, at least it wouldn't be as bad as other things sticking out in the press box. That's from my mom.
That's a good point. It's a very good point. Yeah.
What is happening on my show right now? What in the hell is happening?
I guess I could wear like an overshirt shirt like what you wear, but we got to have the station logo showing. And, I don't.
Texter says, yeah, Lil, let's get weird on this Nippy Friday. Stop. Texter says, Zoe, I suggest the Manzier or the Bro, both infamous from a Seinfeld episode. You're welcome, Lonzo.
I also hope that Tara's looking at this and it's killing her.
Yeah, just feel free. You know what? At this point, just feel free to send as many nipple-related texts to 71307 as you'd like.
You guys are making a joke out of this, and I'm dead serious about a way to cover said things.
Let me be clear. The day that we got our new station polos, Lonzo picked it up and was like, oh yeah, the Nips are going to show off in this one. But that does not mean that I thought the show was going to open today with Lonzo genuinely and sincerely asking me and the audience if I go to the AFC Championship game to cover Kansas City and Buffalo, Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen in person playing this game for a ticket to the Super Bowl. The big question is, how do I keep my nips concealed? That's what we opened with.
Hey, we're all friends here. I just need some help. That's all.
Skrilla said, you've lost control of the show, Rob. Rein it in like Lonzo's nips. Miss Lisa, are you listening and can
Don't
you
do
help?
that. Don't do that. If she was listening, we'd know. We'd already know.
What is happening?
She's working.
Right now?
You leave her alone.
I can't imagine somebody, I've gotten a story many, many times. I've got two different friends here in the upstate that work with cars. One works at a rental car company. One works at a very, very popular car dealership in town. And once to twice a week, I will get a text from one of them that's like, hey, I just picked up a rental car and your station was on the radio. I just had a car come in for service and I turned on their car and your station was on the radio. I heard you on the radio. I can't imagine somebody popping into the car, hitting the scan button for the first time, looking for a great sports talk radio show, clipping into this and hearing Lonzo say, if I go to the title game, how do I keep the nips under wraps?
I got to say, if you think this isn't legitimate, then check out the stream and how red my face is right now, because it's so red my forehead hurts.
You did this.
I know, but
This is your fault.
this is how important this is to me, that I'm willing to deal with public embarrassment so I won't have to deal with embarrassment there.
Texter says, Lonzo, try duct tape.
I'm not opposed to duct tape. I'm not.
If you all, as listeners, and I try not to overwhelmingly direct the conversation here, but if you would like to have any further conversation with Lonzo about his nipples, can you take it to Twitter where nipple conversation is encouraged?
Is it encouraged?
I mean, it's not discouraged.
Okay, well, there's that. No, keep the text coming, 71307, because I need your help.
Listen, we get. Let's be real. We get paid to drive engagement, right? Like, we know that. We've had a very, very long conversation about that in the last week.
That's
We
what
get
we're
paid
supposed to do?
To drive
No.
engagement.
No.
I don't need engagement based on Lonzo's nips. I don't need it.
But yet he said that like how many times?
I got a paper full of show prep right here. I got a whole notepad sheet full of show prep, ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, and I need help.
And now
okay?
we're on minute 14 of Lonzo's nipples at an AFC Championship game.
I need help. That's all. In many ways, but especially
is
for
this
this.
directly connected to seeing Patrick Mahomes in person?
No, this is not a reaction to visible stimuli. This has to do with temperature and material. That's all. Just temperature and material.
Okay. All right. Somebody said,
So,
Lonzo
sorry, I
rocked
dropped the dumb act for a second. But
rocked
yeah.
pasties with tassels. It's twirl time, baby.
Yeah, but if I were to do something like that, I would have to go with team colors, and that's not allowed in a press box.
Rob, nipple protection is a real thing. There are footballs involved, and we don't want Zoe to lose a nipple.
That could happen.
It can't.
It could happen.
For the record, Rob, this is way better than any sports talk radio show. Is it though? Is it though?
First of all,
Deion just flipped another 5-star to Colorado.
You threw up on Twitter that it was going to get weird today. You're welcome. Okay? I just helped you fulfill I just made your words prophetic. That's all.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Please help.
Yes, please help me not have Lonzo's nipples be the main topic of conversation on this show anymore. Please. Yes, please help. 71307 is the text line. If you want to text about I will say this. There is the small part in the back of my brain that is laughing at the fact that all the people on Lonzo's main baby, WORD, are looking at the text line blow up with text about Zoe's nipples right now. Amazing.
I will tell you, Tara, I think it's funny. She has a very twisted sense of humor. So
Texter says an Under Armour heat gear compression shirt would probably work good and wouldn't get too hot. Jacob actually texting in a real solution as opposed to putting the mental picture in my brain of Zoe wearing nipple tassels. Thank you, Jacob, for trying to actually help.
Heat compression shirt. There we go.
There you go.
All right.
So we can stop with Zoe's nipples now, or is this going to be a thing that runs all day?
See, this is exactly what I was looking for. It's ranges between $25 and $30-something, but it'd be worth it.
I mean,
because someday I might actually get to go out on a remote again.
Yeah.
It's unlikely, but you never know.
To keep the headlights on dim, it's worth $25 for Zoe.
Wow. I think I got to see if there's any stores around here. Wonder if Dick's carries it or Sports Academy or so. Okay. All right. We're good. Thank you.
Hi, welcome to Box Sports Store X. Hi, my name is Lonzo. I was wondering if you had any shirts.
No.
Down.
See, you miss it. If when I walk in, they will go, Lonzo, this way. I mean, you see, I don't have to say who I am. They know what I'm there for.
Welcome to. You're the nipple guy from the radio.
Yeah. So, and I will, try it on right there and make sure it works.
Texter said, "Will Lonzo's piercings show through the shirt?" No, I don't think so. I think Lonzo's nipple piercings will be under wraps.
Yeah, I'll take the studs out.
What is happening right now? Let's take a break. When we come back, I was going to say that's the last of Zoe's nipple takes, but I know you as people. I just know all of you, and I suspect that our text message thread is just going to be Zoe's nips the rest of the day. Can you dedicate 10 minutes
I
for
love
Zoe's
you.
nipples on Monday, maybe a weekly segment? Hell, can Lonzo's nipples co-host the show? They are right now.
They have since the beginning of the station.
I had to take a break. I have to go take a walk. We're back after this. I actually do have sports to talk about. If Zoe's nips will let me. We'll see how that goes when we come back on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. Now I have Diddy sending me gifts of men's nipples. I apparently have Rhonda being upset that she sent a text that said that wouldn't be as bad as the bottom part erecting, but then she thought I wasn't going to read that text on the air. You're going to send me that text and think I'm not going to read that.
All right, Kevin, stop, man.
Award-winning radio.
Just stop, dude. There is that line that you live beneath. Come back up to the line. I'm gonna give me one of those compression shirts, though. And don't believe for a second that he legitimately is embarrassed to the point where he had to leave the room. I don't think he can get embarrassed. I'll be blushing for 3 days. But it was worth it to find out what I needed to find out. I also want to point out the name of the anatomical thing that I've been speaking of. I don't believe I said it once. Rob said it the entire time. It's another one of those things too. If you're going to get called to the office on something, which I won't, but if I were, what a fun conversation that would be. Who cares?
Correct.
I was just pointing out, if I got called to the office about this, that would be awesome because of what the conversation would entail. Because I would point out to the powers that be that I never said the word. Rob did.
I can't imagine the word nipples
Rob said it multiple times. I still haven't said it.
is radio banned.
Sponsored by Corley Plumbing, Air and Electric.
At Corley Plumbing, Air and Electric, we offer flexible financing options with low monthly payment to meet your needs. Call Corley Plumbing, Air and Electric today or book online, CorleyPro.com. That's CorleyPro.com. And now, CBS Sports Radio.
On your radio at 97.7 FM, 1330 AM, Greenville, 97.1 FM, 950 AM.
So the name of that chapter will be Hiding Headlights in the Public Domain or something like that. Public setting. Yeah.
Just say play 97 The Fan Upstate on your HD radio at WFBC HD3. There's just one more time. And on your computer at the fan.
FanUpstate.com.
More than the scores. Real sports talk for
Well, the good news is we did not get fired during the break. We're still here. So,
Do you know who works down the hall?
fair enough.
We ain't getting fired for that.
Fair enough. The Rob Brown Show back on the radio. It is the Fan Upstate. Rob, Lonzo, you. My mom said, hopefully that's not the segment that Shane Beamer started to listen to see what he was getting into.
If he did, he would appreciate the audience participation and how they were able to help me with my dilemma. And I really
Do
appreciate
you
it.
think Shane would have some advice for you?
Possibly.
He's on camera all the time.
Possibly.
Yeah, I've been on. Listen,
I'm not the only one who has this problem.
I can tell. All right, pull back the curtain time. I've been on television a lot, right? I have been on TV a lot during my career. I have absolutely had to be considerate of whether or not the headlights were turned on during a TV segment. I get it. I get it.
Because you can't help but look at it if it happens. So I mean, I'm not. I want to be as anonymous as possible inside that room.
And those
Yes.
stick out.
Yes, they do.
All right, let's take a couple of not nip-related segments. Deion Sanders has stolen another 5-star. Cornerback Cormani McClain was the number 1 cornerback recruit in the country this year. McClain was expected to sign with the Miami Hurricanes. Committed to Miami, but he never signed his national letter of intent with the Canes during the early signing period. On December 21st, there was announced a signing ceremony for McClain at his high school. Everything was ready for that signing ceremony, and McClain didn't show up. Just didn't show up. They were waiting. Sorry. Someone has just texted the political station and said, hey, I flipped over to hear Lonzo on the other station. Why are they talking about Lonzo's nipples on the Fan Upstate? That's a text that just got sent directly to the political station. You gotta love that.
It's not a political station. It's a talk station, but that's fine.
Sorry, news talk.
There we go.
It's politics.
It's
And that's okay.
use the proper branding, Rob Brown.
Sorry. It's news talk radio. Anyway, to be a fly on that wall. All right, so Deion snags the number 1 overall cornerback recruit, a recruit that was supposed to sign with the University of Miami. Now he's headed to Colorado. And there's an obvious, interesting discussion going on right now about Deion Sanders, about his recruiting. I think it's fair to ask the question, is Deion Sanders recruiting good or bad for college football? And I think it's also fair to say the answer right now is we don't know. We don't know. Deion, remember last year, stole the number one defensive back in the number one recruit in Travis Hunter away from Florida State. He was verbally committed to the Noles. There was a big brouhaha regarding NIL. The founder of Barstool Sports, Dave Portnoy, got involved. There were allegations of NIL offers being thrown around for him to end up at Jackson State with Deion Sanders. Portnoy wanted Deion Sanders to replace Mike Norvell as the head coach at Florida State, which makes sense for Portnoy because Deion has been involved in Barstool quite heavily. Deion being at FSU and being a Barstool dude would be big for Barstool. It was a business decision for Portnoy. But Travis Hunter ends up with Deion at Jackson State. Florida State loses out on one of the most highly touted recruiting prospects in a very long time in Tallahassee. And there was some drama surrounding that. Here's the reality. If Deion Sanders can coach, then yeah, it's going to be real interesting moving forward. And there's going to be a lot of schools who might very well try the route of celebrity head coaches, right? Former football players turn coaches that schools give their first crack to based on their celebrity status. Why? Because even though, and I do have to remind myself of this fact, that kids who are playing college football right now, Lonzo, kids who are playing college football were born when I was in high school.
Yeah, which means
Deion was well retired at that point.
Deion had already retired, and you call him a celebrity hire, but is he? I mean, how many other coaches in the NFL right now are ex-players? There are quite a few.
Right, but the majority of them actually come up through the coaching ranks. Deion just became a head coach, right?
No, he was coaching high school, and then he coached at a smaller level, and now he's moved up. It isn't like he just suddenly went to a Power 5 team. I mean, he is working his way up.
He came up, and I will tell you this, there is a discussion that I don't believe that I have a place in, right? Like, there's not many discussions in sports that I think I don't have a place in, but there is a discussion that I have heard. The guys over at the Panther Nation podcast, David Rhodes, Rashad Beard, they have done a job that very much interests me in this discussion. But remember, when Deion signed up at Jackson State, one of his stated goals was, I am here to elevate historically black colleges and universities, right? I am a lifer. I am here to elevate HBCUs into a higher realm of football. And then he took the bag from Colorado. And now he's out in the Pac-12. Now, I got no problem with it.
Did he not elevate while he was there?
I mean, he elevated, but as soon as he left Jackson State, a place, by the way, that for a number of months, the athletic department had to ship in trucks of bottled water because Jackson, Mississippi could not provide adequate drinking water to the college. The college had to bring in truckloads of water in order to have fresh water for their students to drink, right? When he left Jackson State, I think it is fair to say that a lot of the notoriety and attention that Deion brought to Jackson State left with him, as did Travis Hunter, the biggest recruit maybe ever to sign with an HBCU, played 1 year with Deion, and now he followed Deion to Colorado. Again, his choice to do with what he wanted, but if you're an HBCU, do you look at Deion and go, hey man, you kind of screwed us here, right? Like you started us down the path, and then right when we started getting attention, right when College Game Day is starting to show up and do game day shows from HBCUs, you left, and now we're right back where we were. But again, I don't have a place in that conversation.
Plus, you've always said you don't have a problem with players or coaches going somewhere else. So I don't know why you have a problem right now with this.
Again, I don't know. It is not my place to talk about the well-being of HBCUs based on Deion Sanders. I can absolutely tell you that as somebody who has been around it throughout my career, I've been to FAMU games, I've been to Grambling games, I've been to Southern games. HBCU football is damn good football. It's entertaining, and I love seeing the success of HBCUs. Absolutely love seeing their success. Love some of the legends that have come out of it. But whether things are good or bad for HBCUs, not my place. I'm not in that community. I support it, but I'm not in it, right? All of that being said, Deion takes his fame and celebrity to Colorado. The number one recruit from last year, Travis Hunter, follows him to Colorado. The number one cornerback recruit, and I believe number 7 overall recruit out of high school football this year, Cormani McClain, is now going to Colorado. And there are a lot of people who are saying this is bad for football, right? These kids aren't being recruited to Colorado because that's where they want to play football. They're being recruited to Colorado because they want to be around Deion Sanders, arguably the most notorious, or at least one of the most notorious NFL players of all time, and a guy who had a pretty damn good legacy playing his ball down at FSU. And my response to that is the same as it is for about everything else. You have got to have something that makes you stand out. You have got to have something that piques the interest of a kid. And being taught how to be a successful college player that turns into a successful NFL player, that lesson, you can feel pretty comfortable, will be a good one coming from a guy who was one of the greatest college football players in Tallahassee history and one of the most notorious and successful NFL players of all time. That makes Colorado stand out in a way that they haven't since the early 1990s. Boulder, Colorado is a beautiful place. I've been there. It's gorgeous.
But, a couple of years ago, this would be suspicious because before NIL, people would think, oh, there's got to be something going on under the table. Why would this guy go here just because of Deion Sanders? But now you don't have to worry about that because there's going to be money involved.
I think there's a lot of cases that's true. I think a lot of kids would play for Deion just to play for Deion. I think he's in a different...
Maybe 10, 15 years ago. But now, as we just talked about, it's been a long time since Deion played.
The kids playing college football, Deion Sanders was well retired by the time that they were born. But there are still players that recognize the greatness that was Deion Sanders as an NFL player, right? Even if you never saw him live, you go to YouTube right now and type in Deion's name, and there's a million videos out there of Deion being Deion. So I don't know. Now, I will say this. Is it good or bad for college football? I don't think anybody can say with any definitiveness that there is even an answer to that question. I don't know is the answer. The University of Colorado put itself at great financial risk with the contract that they signed for Deion Sanders. They put themselves at great financial risk to give them something that stands out. Playing for Deion Sanders. Boulder, Colorado is a beautiful place, but I would not want to be playing football there in November, December. It's cold. It's snowy. Some kids want that. Some kids don't. I don't know. But the overwhelming majority of the best football players in America come from the Southeast. That's not a bias. That's a fact. That can be backed up with numbers. So attracting them to come to a place high in the mountains in the cold where it snows in November is a big ask. Asking them to do that to come learn from Deion Sanders is a little easier. Is it bad for college football? I don't know. I think a good chunk of that question can't be answered until we find out if Deion Sanders is a good coach. And you could say, wait a minute, Rob, he had some success when he was at Jackson State. He absolutely did. But he had success at Jackson State because he was recruiting guys like Travis Hunter, some of the best high school talent in the country. And then he was putting them up against clearly inferior talent. With all due respect to the other HBCUs, they don't have Travis Hunters like Deion had. If Deion brings the exact same recruiting classes to Colorado. Now, you know who Deion opens with at home? You know who Deion's first home game in Boulder, Colorado is, Lonzo? USC, the Trojans. That's his opening game. A team that finished inside the top 6 this year is Deion's first home game. We're going to learn real quick out the gate. Is Deion a great recruiter based on his name? Or is Deion a good head football coach? If Colorado gets Travis Hunters and Cormani McClains, but then USC comes out and beats them by 45, then it's not really going to matter anymore. Because while there will be some kids that want to play for Deion, nobody wants to play with Deion but get beat by 40 every time they play in conference games. If Deion goes out there and the CU Buffaloes are good because the McClains and the Hunters of the world up their game and they go out and compete with USC, beat Oregon State, another couple of top 25 teams, then Deion Sanders might very well flip college football on its head, and all of a sudden, maybe the Pac-12's got to look. Because the recruits are going to be there for Deion out of the gate. Question mark is, can he coach? And I don't think it's fair to ask the question, is Deion Sanders taking 5 stars away from other traditional powerhouses, good or bad for college football? I don't think we can answer that question until we find out, A, can Deion coach? And B, is it sustainable? I will never argue that parity is bad for college football. Parity is good for college football. I want more teams competing for the highest prizes. This is why I am pro playoff expansion. This is why I am pro NIL. This is why I'm pro transfer portal. Because more teams having a genuine shot at being champion is better for the sport, in my opinion. If Deion brings Colorado back into national relevance, if he brings them back to the island of relevancy, I will say it's good for college football. But if he doesn't, I still am not probably going to say it's bad for college football. Why is it bad that Cormani McClain, that Travis Hunter want to play for Deion and experience college in a different way? Why is it bad that not every 5-star defensive back ends up in Coral Gables or Tallahassee or Athens or Columbus or Columbia or Clemson or Tuscaloosa or Opelika? It's not bad. I am fine with talent being spread out. I have seen a lot of very anti-Deion Sanders takes. All that tells me is that Deion is successfully threatening the establishment of college football. And if there is one thing I truly enjoy in sports, it is seeing the establishment get punched in the face and have to adapt to respond. I hope Deion does well at Colorado. I hope he keeps stealing 5 stars from established powerhouses. I hope that Colorado is good. I hope they make a run in the Pac-12. I think college football will be better off for it. College football expansion is happening because there is power concentrated in 2 conferences, the Big Ten and the SEC. The power is concentrated there. And the longer the power is concentrated there, the more that expansion will favor those conferences. What will be interesting to see is if the Colorado Buffaloes, picking up 5 stars under Deion, make a hell of a run, and all of a sudden, Colorado makes the Pac-12 better. The Pac-12 is back competing in Rose Bowls and Natties and semis and quarters. They start competing for big names. Now, all of a sudden, the Pac-12 gets some fire back. If you are anti-college football expansion, then Deion being good at Colorado is good. It floats some money back to the Big 12. They become more of a target for potential expansion, and some of that power congregated in the Big 10 and the SEC spreads out a little bit. And power spreading out across more people is a good thing. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
The winner of Sunday's San Francisco-Dallas matchup. The 49ers looking to keep a league-best 11-game winning streak intact. Hear every play of the NFL playoffs, including the Super Bowl, exclusively on the Fan Upstate. Download the Odyssey app, then search the Fan Upstate and listen anywhere on your phone. I'm Chuck Sanders. That's the Sports Flash on the Fan Upstate.
It's been years in the making, and now the most epic comic and game store is finally here. Borderlands Comics and Games. Reimagined, bigger and better than before. The state's premier hobby shop has been bringing the best in comics, manga, and gaming to the region for 2 decades. Come see us at our new enormous location at 410 South Pleasantburg. Live the Borderlands experience for yourself. We have gone to a whole new level. Find us on Facebook and Instagram. Proud sponsors of the Upstate Pulse. Borderlands Comics and Games. Read, build, play.
Let's face it, credit cards are pretty much a necessity.
New tires for the car? Here's my card.
I order takeout, here's my card. And most of us just accept the high interest rates credit cards charge as a necessary evil.
What are you going to do?
Get a low fixed rate credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream from $5,000 to $100,000 and pay off those credit card balances. Apply online and you can get your money as soon as the day you apply. The average credit card company charges over 19% APR. But with Lightstream, you can get a fixed rate as low as 7.99% APR with AutoPay and excellent credit.
Now I can pay off my high-interest credit cards and save money with a much lower rate.
Apply today at lightstream.com/radio and get an additional interest rate discount. That's lightstream.com/radio. Lightstream.com/radio.
Subject to credit approval. Rates range from 7.99% APR to 23.99% APR. Includes 0.5% auto pay discount. Lowest rate requires excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply. Offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/radio for more information.
The NFL playoffs live on Odyssey.
Touchdown as time expires. Unbelievable turn of events.
Non-stop coverage from the biggest sports radio stations in the country. Podcasts dedicated to each NFL team and postseason games streaming live for free.
Takes the handoff, looks right, throws right, hands up, caught, touchdown.
Your playoffs, your Odyssey. Get in the game and download the free Odyssey app today.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and
By the way, I'm being texted by someone down the hall. If you're wondering why I'm grabbed my phone and texted while you were talking.
Oh, okay. I don't care.
Someone is not going to be in again today, which I kind of figured, but I haven't heard back from the other person.
Bonus days are back for pros at Lowe's.
Means I could be going another 11 today. I
Huzzah.
think I'll just retire.
$100 in the powerful DeWalt 8.25-inch carbide tip portable table saw. Was $3.99, now just $2.99. Join today and shop bonus days. Only at Lowe's. Bonus points calculated for taxes and fees after applicable discounts if any. Valid through 1/20. Subject to change while supplies last. Visit Lowe's.com/MVP's bonus points for details.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack.
Ugh.
Not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of
Are you ready?
finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Straight Talk Wireless knows there are plenty of reasons you might need a new phone. But switching to a better wireless provider doesn't have to be one of them. Keep your own phone and save when you switch to any Straight Talk wireless plan, like our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with unlimited high-speed data and 5 GB hotspot, plus nationwide 5G. Keep your own phone. Switch to a better wireless plan. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. Requires a compatible online phone and BYOD via 5G T-Mobile device required. Actual availability covers and speed events. And then terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
From the Ingalls Market Studio, the fan.
Upstate, 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg.
Always live from the Free Odyssey app. CBS Sports Radio.
Wrapping up hour number 1 here on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Hurricane Jeff texted into the show. Of course, he's got a centerpiece in this conversation, considering Cormani McClain left Miami to go to Colorado with Deion. Jeff says, I don't have a problem with the young man flipping to somebody who is his idol again. It's like you say, it comes down to coaching. And can Deion make the young man into a big-time college football cornerback? I wish the young man good fortune. And more fans should have that mentality, right? More fans should have that mentality. I've absolutely seen some disgusting comments about this kid out of Miami fans, just like I heard some disgusting comments from Florida State fans when Travis Hunter left Tallahassee to go to Jackson State last year. Now, the Florida State situation, I think, was a little bit different because of all the discussion about Portnoy and Barstool getting in, making the kid an NIL offer contingent on him leaving Tallahassee to go play for Deion. But at the end of the day, that's that kid's choice, right? You can throw lobs at Portnoy and Barstool if you want, but it was his choice to go in that direction. But more fans should be like Jeff in this case. But the question is Deion being able to pull this off good or bad for college football? And the answer is, I don't think we can know that answer yet. I don't think it is possible to know that answer yet. I will say this. One aspect where it might be bad would be Deion having success based on recruiting, not on coaching. If Deion just recruits enough kids that he can go 10-2 even with questionable coaching, then you might start seeing more college football teams elect to hire former players with no coaching experience, high-profile players with no experience, just to try to replicate that result. In which case, I think you will end up with a bunch of teams that are capable of 8-4, 9-3, but not much better. They get enough athletes to out-athlete 8 or 9 of their 12, but never get coached up to be good enough to win the big games, right? And that's what I'm worried about with Colorado. Deion was able to recruit just an elite amount of talent at Jackson State to win on their roster. At Colorado, when he's got USC and Oregon and Utah lined up ahead of him next year, will he be able to coach that talent into winning those games by being a good team? We'll find out. Frankly, I hope that he is. I think it's good for college football if he is. But I'll be curious to see if more schools decide to try to go the Deion Sanders route in the future. Coming up in the next hour of the show, our boy Tim Frisbee hit me up with a question about Tom Brady on Twitter yesterday that I thought was interesting, and I'll answer it on the air when we come back on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language. I love it.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
It's incredible. After using Babbel, I'm ready to start having real conversations in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Babbel. Évidemment. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Experience the future of connectivity with Spectrum One. You get Spectrum Internet delivering the fastest speeds in the nation for $49.99 a month. Advanced Wi-Fi for enhanced privacy and security for 12 months.
We were, but Rob killed it.
Text and data plus
But we found out the answers that we needed. So
Who wants to make a resolution they can keep? Let's resolve to eat better pizza. Come on, you can do it. With the
if the situation should arise and we do go somewhere, I will document my purchasing of said shirt. Might even do a fashion show so we can see if it's successful.
If you own a business, this has been a bumpy ride. From pandemic to inflation, I'm sure you could use a break. If your business has 5 or more employees since 5 COVID, you might be eligible to receive a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. The challenge is getting your hands on it. Hi, I'm Howard Mackler. and now-
Kev says, if Dion is successful, does that change opinions on the Jeff Saturday hire? Does it make it look better for other NFL teams to hire ex-players for head coach? No, because Jeff Saturday went 1-7, right? Like, now granted, the argument's going to come back that Jeff Saturday took over a bad team. By the way, he didn't. That he took over for a head coach who failed in Frank Reich. By the way, he didn't. Another discussion for another time.
It's also a different level of football, too.
It is absolutely a different level of football. But I think anybody hiring a head coach who has never been a head coach before is a bad idea. Just like if I met somebody out in public who entertained the crap out of me and had me rolling on the ground laughing, that doesn't mean I would just hire him to do a radio show. There's a lot more that goes into it besides just showing up and being you.
Come on now. You're going out there to play one of the most violent games that there is. It is the gladiator sport of our time. You think anybody's calling the school and withdrawing the money they're sending because Kirby cuts in the pregame speech? That probably doubled the money. We live in a society nowadays where everybody's got to be politically correct. You got to walk on eggshells. Screw that. At the end of the day, the people that are the most successful are the best motivators. And that's what he's doing. And if you don't want to listen to it, don't click on the link or grow up.
Number one for real afternoon sports talk.
Offsides with Mark Ryan.
Rated on the fan.
Upstate.
Our lineup of playmakers.
The DA Show, mornings at 6.
Rob Brown Show at 9.
The Jungle with Jim Rome, weekdays at noon.
And Offsides with Mark Ryan at 3. Real sports talk for real sports fans.
Upstate.
The Rob Brown Show, now 19.
He is the world's strongest athlete. Mr. Mark Henry joins us here on the show. Talk to me a little bit about what you think AEW is doing right to grow the fan base and how it's different from other companies you have worked for in the past.
I think that AEW is a fast-moving company and is growing to be the number one company in the world because the talent are very hyper-competitive. And if they want to be number one, they realize what they have to do. Everybody else can say that it's not a competition, but if you're trying to be number one.
That's a great question, James, but I think it would match a lot of what he wears.
Which I like this hat. You know, I talked about professional wrestling with Chris earlier today. And I said, people laugh at this, but a lot of the success I've had in this industry is because I look at situations as they're playing out through the lens of professional wrestling, right? And it amazes me how dumb things, if presented entertainingly, if I may make up a word, can become your sticking point, right? Jericho writing people's name on a list became one of the hottest things going for a while. Jake Hager having a dumb gas station purple bucket hat and just screaming how much he likes his hat is hilarious. It's amazing.
We should get some Rob Brown Show bucket hats.
Bucket hats. I'm for it. I did order myself a custom Rob Brown Show baseball jersey. That will be here in the next few days. And if it looks good, I'm going to get you one as well.
Depends on what material it's made out of.
Our número dos of the Rob Brown Show starts right now. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am Rob. Lonzo's on the other side of the glass. The only show in the upstate that can help you answer the question, what is the most successful way to cover your nips in public? It is the Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Upstate. It's not that you guys won't stop sending text about Lonzo's nips. It's that you've sent so many of them that during a break in the last hour, I stepped out to go to the restroom. And as I walked into the restroom, the host of another very popular morning show here in the upstate was already in the restroom. And when I entered the restroom, this host of this very popular AM radio show here in the upstate, who I am a fan of, by the way, walked in the room. He's like, "What's up, Rob Brown?" "Not much, buddy. How are you?" "I'm good, man." We spent a minute or two talking wrestling, as we do. And then he said, "Why did I get a text telling me that our show has talked less about nipples than yours today?" And I said, "I'm not comfortable answering this question." So not only have you guys not stopped sending text about Lonzo's nipples to our text line at 71307, start your text FAN and then tweet away or text away. Not only have you not stopped sending those texts, but you have spent so many of those texts so far that not only are Lonzo's nipples the topic of conversation on this show, they are the topic of conversation on other shows at this point, or at least amongst the talent on the other shows.
It's always been my goal, and I've come close a couple of times, but we keep picking up stations. It makes it a little more difficult to get my name mentioned in not necessarily a negative way on every single station on the same day. I've come close a couple of times.
Did you ever wonder if your headlights was going to be the reason why that happened?
I knew it would be something like that because only certain things make it on certain stations. So there's that.
Listen, I've been making the argument for like a week now that Peyton and Brady to Carolina is the setup that absolutely makes the most sense for Carolina. And I have been asked about it on other shows. I've done a couple of interviews on stations in North Carolina about that take. I have been making a couple of rounds on it. I would assume that if my name was going to be popping up on other stations, it would be because, you know, Rob's got kind of an out there take, but he's got a lot of good justification for it, like this one. I never would have thought that our name getting picked up on what I believe might be the most popular morning show, all formats included, maybe the top two in the market, would be because Lonzo needed to know how to cover up his pointers in the presence of Patrick Mahomes. I didn't think that was going to do it. And for the record, I am not a shock jock radio host. I'm not a dude who's like, let's see how dirty and walk the line we can be for attention. It's never been my style. If you've listened to the show, you know that. But I also did not think that it would be Zoe's fault that we spent that much time talking about his nips getting hard at an AFC championship game and him trying to figure out the best way to go camo on that situation.
Listen, here's the thing. There are hard-hitting questions that man has asked since the dawn of time. And then there are voices in the wilderness willing to speak out and ask those questions. And I happen to be one of those today. And I think not only did the Armada provide, because they did with a solution to my problem, but this is also a solution to other people's problems who may not have the willingness to voice that question. And I'm here for them.
Lonzo out here being the voice of the voiceless, or the voice of the of those cursed with oversized areolas, I guess. I guess that's where we are. Lonzo's just out here trying to be an American hero for American men everywhere who are a bit more pointy than they like. He's a true American hero, ladies and gentlemen.
I am a real American. I am wearing yellow today. You know, so.
And he is wearing a t-shirt made of thick fabric. The stream thanks you.
It is pretty thick.
The stream thanks you, brother. All right. I don't know. Like, this is where I should segue to another topic that we need to get to on the radio broadcast today. And I don't know how to. So I'll just start talking about something else, anything else.
We should invite, some of these other shows to come on and have a discussion about things like this that guys are afraid to ask, and let's just talk about them. A roundtable, if you will.
How many of you are tuning in for the live stream entitled "The Fan Upstate Discusses: Nipple Stiffness"? Is that one that's going to get us to the hundreds of thousands of viewers? I don't know. Stay tuned. Lonzo will lead the most important discussion you didn't know you needed to hear. I'm not hosting that segment, by the way. That's all you.
I don't need your help. I mean, because as far as that, I'm a radio professional. I've been in the business for over 25 years. I can handle I can handle such hard-hitting questions.
25 years in the biz. How many times has your nipples been the main topic of a show? I'm going to say one.
I don't. It may have came up before.
Clearly, that's the whole point of the discussion.
Exactly.
All right. Let me get to this. We got to talking yesterday about...
No, we didn't. You did.
Me and Rashad Beard, with the occasional objection from the great one yesterday. If you missed the segment, you can go to thefanupstate.com, middle of the page, click. You people have to stop.
Why you got to be you people?
Because this is the text that just came in. Fan/word. He's just going to hit both at the same time. Fan/word. Vince or Rob, does Lonzo have puffy nipples? So somewhere in America right now, Vince Coakley is staring at a computer screen and going, what the bleep is this?
Should I send Vince a text and ask him to disregard anything that has to do with that subject matter?
No. In fact, if nothing else, now I'm going to stream Vince's show after we're done here.
Again, I would say I was sorry, but he's probably laughing about it too.
So yesterday, Rashad Beard and I were talking about my belief that Brady and Peyton to Carolina makes perfect sense. And I honestly thought Rashad Beard was going to push me back on that. Not only did he not, but he actually said, you actually kind of made that sound good. You actually kind of made a pretty sound argument here.
I want to put this out there because you can go back and look at the video and you can watch Rashad watching me. And I think Rashad just jumped on your side to make me upset. I think he was just enjoying how much I didn't like it, to the point where I just don't believe Rashad is down with what you were saying. He just wanted to go at me.
Maybe. But I'm also going to say that Rashad doesn't really have a problem going, Rob Brown, you sound like an idiot right now.
Who in their right mind would believe that the old man Tom Brady is going to the Carolina Panthers?
Me. I didn't say he is. I said he should and could, and it would make sense for him to. Anyway, I pushed it on Rashad. If you missed that interview, you can go back to thefanupstate.com. It was at the tail end of hour number 1 from yesterday. You can pull it from there. So we got through with that conversation. There were a few of y'all that were on board, and the majority of y'all were very much not. And I got a tweet from friend of this show, Tim Frisbee, former South Carolina Gamecock. Tim tweeted me and said, here's the question in regards to Tom Brady. Most players in all sports do not get the opportunity to end things on their own terms. Being Brady and having that power, would you quit now after the season that you just had? That's the question Tim put to me. And my response was as follows. Multiple parts. First off, if you are asking if Tom Brady should retire on his own terms, do you think the season the Tampa Bay Buccaneers just had are the terms that Tom Brady wants his career to end on? Sincerely. Tom needs 2 hands to wear his Super Bowl rings. Do you think that season, 8-9, winning the worst division potentially in the history of the current iteration of the NFL, and getting his ass beat by the Dallas Cowboys in the playoffs, do you think that is Tom Brady's terms? The answer is very clearly and obviously not a chance.
Unless Tom Brady realizes that part of the problem was a decline in his ability and that he's probably not going back the other way, that it's all downhill from now, and it could be worse. Because it absolutely could be worse. We've seen guys hit that wall, and it's ugly.
I don't disagree with that. And that led me to the second part of my response to Tim Frisbee's tweet. The second part is, and this is, I think, ultimately the part that won Rashad over, because I think that Rashad was also ready to hit me with the he's old and on the decline. And I'm not arguing that Brady's playing like a 27-year-old, a 25-year-old. I'm not. But I'm saying he's plenty good enough and playing plenty good enough to win. If you ask what went wrong in Tampa, the strongest argument you could bring about Tom Brady is that his being 45 at the beginning of last season didn't help. But you can't pin Tampa's season on Tom Brady. I can pin it on the fact that they had about 12 different offensive line combinations. I can pin it on the fact that they had, I believe, 3 of their day 1 starters on IR at some point for extended periods. I can blame it on the fact that they put in a defensively minded head coach that I truly do believe took away some of Byron Leftwich's power as the offensive coordinator. We can blame it on the fact that, hey, we talked yesterday about maybe Byron Leftwich was the scapegoat and that's why he got canned. But I also need you to remember who Byron Leftwich was the OC under before that. Bruce Arians. an offensive-minded quarterback whisperer of a head coach. How much of Byron Leftwich's success the previous couple of years in Tampa were because Bruce Arians was behind the scenes coaching him up on how to coach him up? I would be willing to guess at least some of it, right? At least some of it. So Arians leaves. They go with Todd Bowles, a defensively minded head coach. Byron Leftwich is on his own to figure it out in terms of running an offense. And the offense as a whole, with a stack of injuries, goes downhill. And through all of that, and I understand I am making the argument that is most flattering to my position, because that's what we do. With all of that lined up, if all or even most of that is accurate, Tom Brady, point number 3 of my reply to Tim Frisbee, Tom Brady put up better overall stats in entirety than Derek Carr did. Now, if you want to fire back at me, I will give you your argument for you.
Which would be that Derek Carr played in a much more difficult conference than what Tom Brady did.
Correct.
The AFC West definitely a lot more difficult to play in than the NFC South.
Correct. That is your argument. The NFC South was a dumpster fire this year. There is no argument against that. The Raiders played in the AFC West, which featured the 14-3 Chiefs and the 10-7 playoff making San Diego / LA Chargers. They also did have the 5-12 Broncos. Cool. But Derek Carr had Devontae Adams. Derek Carr had Josh Jacobs. Derek Carr had weapons around him. Tom Brady had Leonard Fournette. Now, Leonard Fournette's a good little running back, but he ain't a pass-catching running back.
I don't think I would call him little. He's very.
Leonard Fournette's a large,
very
good
stout.
running back.
Yes,
a good, large running back. Leonard Fournette ain't a pass-catching running back, right? I covered him when he was at LSU. I've covered him through his time in Tampa. Jacksonville and then Tampa. Leonard Fournette is not a pass-catching running back. Okay, so there's a weapon that Derek Carr had that Tom Brady didn't. Derek Carr had arguably the best wide receiver in the league in Devontae Adams. Tom Brady had, granted, 2 very good ones in Evans and Godwin, but neither one of them is Devontae, right? Tom Brady put up better overall stats top to bottom than Derek Carr did. Yet I get hit with Tom Brady needs to retire. He's old. He should go out on his terms. And I get where Tim Frisbee is coming from to some degree. That degree being that what I don't want to see is the last time Tom Brady leaves a football field, it's because his 46-year-old ass got knocked in the dirt and his bell got wrong or his leg gets broke, right? Nobody wants to see Brady's last time. I want to see Brady walk off the field waving to the crowd, whether it's after a Super Bowl win or a bounce from the playoff. Or I don't care what the situation is. The last time we see Tom Brady, I want it to be waving to the crowd. Love him or hate him, I want him to see him wave to the crowd on the way out, not carted off on an ambulance or a golf cart, right? So I get that aspect of it. But what indication do you have to believe that's the case? He played behind a hodgepodge offensive line last year that was remarkably banged up, and he finished the season healthy. What is one thing you can say about the NFC South, the dumpster fire that it was? Pretty good set of defensive lines in the NFC South. New Orleans just saw Cam Jordan become the franchise all-time sack leader. Brian Burns in the middle for Carolina. Derek Brown in the middle. Brian Burns is an edge rusher in Carolina. Pretty good set of defensive lines in the NFC South. And Brady just finished the year healthy. Is there a remarkable difference between Brady at 45 and Brady at 46 in the likelihood that they suffer or he suffers a season-ending injury? I can't say there is, right? So if Brady went out and put up better numbers in entirety than Derek Carr, and Derek Carr is being listed as the best free agent quarterback available right now, then why in the hell would anybody make the argument, oh, Brady has to go? He's got better numbers than the number one available free agent quarterback in the league, Derek Carr. But you're going to tell me he needs to go. Why? Oh, he's old. Okay. He old is putting up better numbers than a hell of a lot of younger quarterbacks and doing so behind a depleted Buccaneer offense. And you're telling me you don't want a part of that? You'd rather have Derek Carr?
All this speculation about Brady leaving, and he hasn't said what he's going to do, period. I mean, he may just stay with Tampa Bay.
He might. He might. But considering the last press conference Brady had in a Bucs hat was him going, I just want to thank everybody here. I hope I provided you with some good memories, some good times. I've enjoyed my time here in Tampa. Didn't sound like a guy that's juiced about being back in Pewter next year. Sounded like a guy that knows like he won't be. Sounds like a guy who knows he won't be. Here are, as of today, the best available free agent quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson, going to get franchise tagged. Geno Smith is a free agent. You want Geno or Tom Brady? Honest answer. Tom Brady, right? Daniel Jones.
Geno's younger. Not by much, but
not
he's
by
younger.
much. Geno Smith is going to be 33 when the season starts next year.
Panthers ain't going after no Geno Smith.
Correct. Because they know Tom Brady will be better. Danny Dimes, Daniel Jones out of New York. I'm going to tell you right now, Danny Dimes earned himself another 2 years in New York with his performance in the playoffs this past weekend and the run up to them.
Last I checked, he's still in the playoffs also.
Correct. Danny Dimes ain't going nowhere. You can be as upset about it as you want. Tom Brady is the best option for Carolina. He just is. By the way, David Tepper was supposed to be meeting with Sean Payton today, but there was another sports tragedy that took place as one of the players on the Charlotte FC team passed away in a boating accident in Florida, and the vigil for his celebration of life has been scheduled for today and tomorrow. David Tepper has delayed the meeting with Sean Payton in order to attend that celebration of life, and I think that's a fair way to handle it. I think that's fine. He was scheduled to meet in New York later on this afternoon. He has pushed that meeting back with Sean Payton, so the news will hang out as we wait for that meeting to take place, and I still think it will. Still think it will. Let's take a break. We'll come back here in just a minute. I am Rob Brown. He is the great one, Lonzo. This is the Rob Brown Show. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Fan Upstate. Yes, that is correct, Hudson. 46-year-old on the decline, Brady is still better than 25 other quarterbacks in the league, without a doubt. Well, if you spent 30 minutes listening to yesterday's show instead of today's, Tommy, you missed a solid 20 minutes of conversation about Lonzo's nipples. Go back and listen to the beginning of this show. It's just Hall of Fame caliber stuff. Will has suggested that you just free the nip entirely.
Maybe just going with some netting. Half shirt.
We'll get you we'll get you an 80s wrestling. All right, hit in the restroom, guys. Be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Healthcard.com. Sponsored by Corley Plumbing, Air and
Bam,
Electric.
bam, bam, bam. Ba-na-na-na-na. Da-la-la-la-la. Matt Cardona has just filed a trademark for Zack Ryder. He's coming back for the Rumble.
Now, CBS Sports Radio.
Good for him.
On your radio at 97.7 FM, 1330 AM, Greenville, 97.1 FM, 950 AM, Spartanburg.
Listen on your phone, download the Odyssey app, and search The Fan Upstate.
There's a whole lot more to know about sound if you really want to go into the subject.
Your smart speaker. Just say play 97 The Fan Upstate. On your HD radio at WFBC HD3. There's just one more thing. And on your computer at The Fan.
FanUpstate.com.
Get in the game on the road.
The Rob Brown Show on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate. Last thing on TB12, and then we're done with it for a little while. Because honestly, I don't think the discussion matters unless Sean Payton shows up. That's the only way that this ends up happening. Diddy is hitting me up. Texted the show. Said Brady's best play would have been a ride into the sunset after the Super Bowl in Tampa. Now it'll be tough for him to hang it up without a successful season, and that might never happen again. Carolina is one place that it could happen and be beneficial for both the franchise and him. And that's exactly right.
Riding into one. So Tom Brady shows up and Carolina wins the Super Bowl.
Tom Brady.
That's how you ride off into the sunset is he comes. So you're guaranteeing if Tom Brady shows up in Carolina, he's going to win a Super Bowl.
No. Where else would he go and have a good chance at a successful season next year?
Nowhere.
Right. So
No, there is one team. There's one team, and he's not going to be able to go there. And that's San Francisco. That's the one team that he could go to right now and have a shot at winning the Super Bowl. Because everything is perfect there. If that's the one place, there is no other place he could go and do that.
I disagree. For the record, no one is guaranteed a ring. Not Brady, not Mahomes, not Allen. No, one quarterback gets a ring. That's it. There is no guarantee. Brady's looking for a place it could happen and looking for a place where it has a better than average chance of happening. I have said, and I continue to say, I truly believe the Panthers are a head coach and quarterback away from being placed into relevancy. Not even NFC favorite.
Well, what's relevancy? What is that?
Division winners, making the playoffs, and not being a long shot.
Yeah, they could have won the division and made the playoffs this year.
They sure could have.
All they had to do was win one game
against
a horrible Tampa Bay team.
Sure could have. Which leads me to believe that if Brady's in that rotation, which also means, by the way, he's not in Tampa, and that team, which is an absolute boat show right now, right? An absolute boat show right now. The division that is easiest to win next year that Tom Brady could be a part of is the NFC South. No question about that. Tom Brady, I will state that I don't state a lot of prognostications as a fact. Here's one. If Brady's in Charlotte next year, Carolina wins the division. That's not a prediction. That's a spoiler.
Here's another one. If Brady leaves Tampa Bay, Carolina's going to win the division next year.
Sure.
I can make the same thing because they could have won it.
That's what he's looking for.
They could have won it this year.
Right.
I'm talking about the Panthers. They could have won it this year with horrible coaching and inconsistent play and coaching the entire season. They could have won it this year. They're going to win it next year. Who's going to be their competition if Tom Brady leaves? You don't need Tom Brady to come to Carolina for the Panthers to win the division. You don't. They could probably win it with Sam Darnold because Tom Brady will be gone from Tampa Bay.
They, with Brady, will win the division.
They, without Brady, will win the division.
I'm going to say maybe.
And I'm going to say definitely.
Okay.
They don't need Brady to win the division.
So let me
They
ask
didn't
you
need
this.
him this year, and they should have won it.
So agreeing that they are division winners, with or without him next year, agreeing they're division winners. What stacks them up better to win the big game?
Coaching.
It is a quarterback-driven league.
Coaching.
Yeah, okay. Let's put Sam Darnold in Kansas City. Are the Chiefs definitely the AFC favorite right now? Hell no.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Not a
Because
chance.
of Andy Reid. Without a
No.
doubt. All he does is win wherever he goes.
No.
He would find a way to win with Sam Darnold.
Ladies and gentlemen, the classic Tim Tebow argument.
I don't know why you're going there. I don't understand how that's
Because
relevant.
he just wins is not something to lean on.
There's a difference between coaching, excellent coaching, historic coaching, as far as Andy Reid goes. He can win with anybody. He absolutely
Do you think
can.
the Chiefs have had the success that they have without Patrick Mahomes?
They had success before Patrick Mahomes.
Do you think they've had the recent success that they've had without Patrick Mahomes?
They were winning with Alex Smith.
Alex Smith was a good quarterback before he got everything blowed up around him.
Really? Because they didn't want him in San Francisco, but Andy Reid took him and saw his potential and was able to win with him.
I think you're making the argument that I'm saying it's either coaching or quarterback.
You
It's
just made
not.
that argument.
No. I am saying that you sound like you're saying coaching's what matters. That's it. That's all you can take. Any Scribino you want.
That's not what I
It was
said.
great coaching.
It sounds like what you're saying. Quarterback's what matters. You can put a great quarterback into any situation and they're going to win. That's the same thing that you're putting in me. I can put it to you. That's exactly what you just
Why
said.
have I said over and over that Brady and Charlotte only works if Sean Payton comes with him? It's the only way it works. Brady and Charlotte with Steve Wilkes as the coach is pointless. It's pointless. It would be a waste of Brady's final year, question mark. It is pointless. Brady to Charlotte only works if Peyton comes with him. If you get an OC and an HC that know how to run an offense and you get Brady, now Brady's chances are elevated. And Brady is, I agree with Diddy, I think, looking for he's looking for the walk-off, right? Brady's not coming back because, scratch that. I don't know Tom Brady personally. I can't say this is a fact. I don't suspect that Tom Brady is coming back because Brady's really jacked after that 8 and 9 divisional championship. I think Brady's coming back because he's going, I can't walk it off like that, right? If I go play pickup ball and I go last game, if I'm playing Call of Duty at night and me and the boys are running a squad and we go last game, fellas, and then I'm out, it's bedtime, and we get in and we get eliminated, the third team off the map, never once have I gone, okay, that was it. I go, no, I can't. I'm not going out like that. I'm not going out like that. Run it back one more. Give me one more. I'm not saying I have to win Warzone. I'm saying I'm not walking out as the third to last place team. Put me back in, give me one more, and I'm running it back. And if I come in second or third, okay, I can walk it off. Sucks, wanted the win, didn't get it. Only one team can win. I'm out. Brady's looking not, I have to have a Super Bowl, I don't think. But he's also not going, 8 and 9 divisional championship. That's how I'll end.
He doesn't win a Super Bowl, he's a failure because of the standard he's already set. Yep. If he doesn't leave with the Super Bowl, then he leaves a failure.
That's not
The next season, wherever he plays, if he wins 1 or 2 more games, still a failure if he doesn't win the Super Bowl. He didn't walk off into the sunset as a champion. He walked off as a loser.
I think he'd certainly prefer to walk out with the Super Bowl. But I don't think 8 and 9 NFC South divisional champion with a sub 500 record is good enough either. Do I think Brady would walk off
So
if
you're
he
right.
loses
So
in the NFC championship game? Yeah.
So if the Bucks won more games than they lost this year and still were still lost in the first round of the playoffs, it's okay then because he won more games than he lost. So now he can go off into the sunset. The only way for this sunset scenario to work is if he wins the Super Bowl and walks off. If not, then he walks off a loser.
Well, first off, I think we're arguing over something subjective. But I even think subjectively that's wrong. I think Brady just doesn't want to go out with what a mediocre season that people like Lonzo are pinning on him, as opposed to the team fell apart.
By the way,
which it did.
I never said it was his fault they lost. They lost because Bruce Arians is no longer the coach.
I agree with that. I put it on Bowles. I put it on Leftwich. I put it on injuries. Sure. You put it on whatever you want. But when you are the centerpiece of the conversation, right, especially at that position in this league, that's what gets talked about. So all I'm saying is, if you are Tom Brady and you are looking for a walk-off season, I am asking you, of the teams that are an option, what team gives you the best crack at having a walk-off season next year? And my answer is the Carolina Panthers. Or, I mean, look, it's not Denver. They can't bring him in. It's not Arizona. They can't bring him in. Indianapolis just interviewed Jeff Saturday for their head coaching job. You think Indy's got a better opportunity to make a run next year? It ain't the Houston Texans. That's a 3 to 4 year rebuild project. What's the best team that will have a quarterback vacancy to give Tom Brady a chance? By the way, it ain't Tampa Bay either. I think we just saw that. Miami has openly said Tua's coming back. We're bringing Tua back. We believe in Tua. Now, maybe that's a lie. Maybe they're just trying to keep the market down by saying they're not a player, and Brady calls up Mike and goes, hey, man, I got one more in me. I love Miami. Let's do it. And Mike says, yeah, but I don't think as vehemently as they came out. Oh, and by the way,
why not Brady to the Jets?
Brady, New York is a possibility. But Robert Saleh is the head coach there. And again, I'm trying to look at this through Brady's eyes. And again, package deal. If Sean Payton is available with DJ Moore and Shi Smith and that run game and that offensive line in Charlotte, and Robert Saleh is available in New York, and I ask you to take a gamble on which of those two teams is going to give you the opportunity to go further in the playoffs, the New York Jets in the AFC or Carolina in the NFC, what's your answer? As a neutral fan, Carolina is the better setup with Sean Payton. If you can't get Sean Payton, Carolina is not the answer. New York might be. But with Sean Payton, Charlotte is set up for success more immediately than the New York Jets are. I stand by that. That's why this works out so well. In my ever so humble yet frequently correct opinion. Let's take a break. Texas said, in Indy's defense, they just talked to Saturday. He will not be the coach. I don't think he is either. But the fact that they interviewed the guy after going 1-7 is hilarious to me. Right? 1-7 and the team looked like trash. At least with Wilkes, you can say he looked bad. But at least with Wilkes, you can say the locker room was united. You might not agree with why they were united, but Carolina's locker room was as cohesive and the game was as cohesive for Carolina as it's been in years under Steve Wilkes. Maybe he's not a coach, but he's got the locker room united. Indianapolis was a boat show down the stretch. And they went with that interview anyway. Just looks to me like an owner running this as a pet project who frankly isn't really interested in what's happening in the locker room. Even if Indy brought in Sean Payton, are they better set up to execute than Carolina? I say no. That's why this makes sense. All right. Take a break. We'll come back. We'll wrap up this year. Texter says, I agree with Lonzo. For Brady, it's Super Bowl or bust. It's not fair, but he set that standard. All right, let's say it's Super Bowl or bust. Who gives you the best chance at the Super Bowl? That's available. It ain't the Jets.
San Francisco. That's it.
Right, but that's available. They will not be available as a destination.
As far as we know.
As far as we know. I have seen the rumors they might be willing to trade Trey Lance, though. I don't know. Let's take a break. We'll get away from this conversation, get to some other stuff on the way out the door. We got to break down. Speaking of, there's divisional round playoffs. We'll break those down on the Rob Brown Show with the Fan Upstate.
Sunday afternoon. It's a 4 o'clock tip-off against Wofford. The Paladins are coming off a 77. Super Bowl exclusively on the Fan Upstate. Download the Odyssey app, then search the Fan Upstate and listen anywhere on your phone. I'm Chuck Sanders. That's the Sports Flash on the Fan Upstate.
Let's face it, credit cards are pretty much a necessity.
New tires for the car? Here's my card.
I order takeout, here's my card. And most of us just accept the high interest rates credit cards charge as a necessary evil.
What are you going to do?
Get a low fixed rate credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream from $5,000 to $100,000 and pay off those credit card balances. Apply online and you can get your money as soon as the day you apply. The average credit card company charges over 19% APR, but with Lightstream, you can get a fixed rate as low as 7.99% APR with autopay and excellent credit.
Now I can pay off my high interest credit cards and save money at a much lower rate.
Apply today at lightstream.com/radio and get an additional interest rate discount. That's lightstream.com/radio. Lightstream.com/radio.
Subject to credit approval. Rates range from 7.99% APR to 23.99% APR and includes 0.5% auto pay discount. Lowest rate requires excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/radio for more information.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee.
James says the Texans are a 20-year rebuild.
Yeah, but after 20 years, they're going to look good.
You're not. Give us a try with this special
When I'm 58, the Texans got a chance.
with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover. All for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter code FRIEND at checkout. That's harrys.com, code FRIEND. Enjoy.
Guys, fellas, men, are you Roman ready for Valentine's Day?
Guys,
Right now,
fellas,
generic
men.
Viagra, aka Sildenafil, is just $4 per dose at Roman. Just complete a free online visit with a U.S. licensed healthcare professional. If medication is appropriate, Roman sends everything right to your door with free shipping and in discreet packaging. Go to rogue.co/Viagra to get generic Viagra for just $4 per dose. Do it by February 8th for 20% off and guaranteed shipping by Valentine's Day. That's ro.co/Viagra.
They say they'll get your biggest tax refund. Jackson Hewitt says your biggest tax refund guaranteed, and a chance to double your tax refund. Thousands in weekly prizes during the Double Your Refund sweepstakes. Your biggest refund times 2. Twice the money, so forget about them. File your taxes on the double at Jackson Hewitt today. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to U.S. residents 18 or older who file a 2022 federal tax return. Promotion ends 4/2/23. Visit jacksonhewitt.com for rules.
From the Ingalls Market Studio, the Fan.
Upstate, 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM.
Live from the Odyssey. Listen on the Odyssey app.
The Rob Brown show rolls on. This is the Fan Upstate. Big Brother was listening to us yesterday, Zoe, because when I got home yesterday evening, it was the lady friend's mom's birthday. So we rolled out to Anderson and took her out to dinner. When I got home last night, I popped open the old Twitter device, started scrolling the social to see what we were going to be talking about today. And slap fighting was all over my Twitter, right? All over it. And I got very curious about that. I was like, how many people are genuinely watching this? Like, I'm curious as to how many people are honestly consuming slap fighting as part of their entertainment. And I went to go look at the numbers because it made its television debut this past Wednesday, right after AEW Dynamite. They rolled straight into Ultimate Slap Fighting or whatever it was. And I was like, let me look at the ratings. Because ratings they're not the everything. But in television, they're a pretty hefty mark of what's going on, right? Like, one thing that's very interesting is Vince McMahon came back allegedly just to facilitate the sale of WWE. And part of that comes hand in hand with renegotiating television rights. Fox is apparently about to drop their offer for SmackDown by about $30 million because the ratings just aren't there to justify what they're spending on it. So I went to look at the ratings. The ratings dropped from All Elite Wrestling Dynamite. That is professional wrestling fans who tuned in for 2 hours. And granted, Dynamite ended with a match between Kushida and Darby Allin, which is a match I really wanted to see, and a match, frankly, Lonzo, that was okay.
Yeah, it was all right.
It was not what I hoped it was going to be. Anyway, the ratings for Ultimate Slap Fighting, which starts at 10 p.m., right? So you're already up against it at nighttime, dropped from professional wrestling by about 66%. About 1/3 of the audience that tuned in to watch professional wrestling stuck around to watch full-grown men and women give each other concussions. And then within that, there was one cat who got knocked plumbed out and went into the fencer's pose. Remember, we talked about that. Who was it that got KO'd earlier this year in the NFL and did that? I blanked on it. But we've seen NFL players getting KO'd the last couple of years, and they go in that fencer pose. That's when their hands go up and they can't control them. And it's wildly scary. It's a scary moment. That is your body's reaction to extreme brain damage. Extreme and immediate brain damage. Why are we doing this? Why is this a thing that is happening? Like, this is, frankly, nothing shy of barbaric, right? If you are watching slap fighting, I need you to reevaluate your life. I need you to really take a long, hard look in the mirror. And I try. I don't even try. I don't gauge people's entertainment choices of television. I don't. As I have pointed out on the show, I watch 4 to 8 hours of professional wrestling a week. I am in no position to judge what other people elect to spend their time on. Tua, yes, thank you, James. When Tua had the fencer's pose, look at where the conversation is about Tua now, right? I'm not in a position to judge. The lady friend has gotten back into 1,000-pound sisters on TLC. She's also big into the season-ending interview event of forget what it's called, Sister Wives, right? And that's her choice in entertainment. I'm not there to judge. I just go in the back room and watch my dumb TV.
As long as she's not watching Pimple Popper, you're good.
Oh, she's all about the Foot Doctor show, too.
Oh, that's got to be rough for you.
I leave. I'm going to say I leave. I mean, I don't go in the back. I mean, I get in the car and leave. Like, text me when it's over. I'm going to the bar. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me. I can't figure it out. I don't gauge other people's entertainment just because it's not mine. But I will say, don't watch this crap, man. Don't watch this crap. At a point in time where every other sport in the world is like, all right, how do we stop guys from getting racked and scrambling their brains? We're putting on ultimate slap fighting where the whole point is to scramble the other guy's brains.
Well, it's not guys exclusively. Women are doing it too. So
yeah, you get it. It's just, it came on my timeline last night, and my immediate response was just to close Twitter. Just to close Twitter and go the hell to bed.
Well, here's how you'll know it'll go away. Next week, after the next episode, if Twitter is still going crazy about it, or if slowly it's forgotten. We'll see.
Well, yes, we will. Yes, we will. All right. That's 2 hours in the books. Coming up in the third hour on a Friday, we will open out of the gate with less nipple talk and more NFL talk. I believe your question has been successfully answered.
It has, and the NFL talk is what led to that. So, I mean, this is all
on thin ice.
This is all about the NFL.
When we come back, it is NFL divisional weekend. We have got 4 games to play. 4 teams will be moving on to the NFC and AFC championship games. We will break those 4 games down when we come back. I am Rob Brown. Lonzo's at the helm. You're listening to the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
And a 93-game win streak against unranked teams. Those all ended last night.
I'm actually starting to get a little bit angry that I haven't heard back.
That was the last time LMU won in Spokane. 68-67 the final last night. The call from the WCC network. Meanwhile, the nation's 2 longest current win streaks did continue last night. It's now 19 in a row for number 18 Charleston after a 69-55 win at Monmouth. 17 straight for number 24 FAU. 83-64 winners at UTSA. The Sixers 4 for 4, a 5-game road trip, finished with a 105-95 W at Portland. And the Nets now 0-4 without Kevin Durant. 117-112 losers in Phoenix. Sean Payton's Panthers interview on hold for now because owner David Tepper is tending to other matters at the moment. The Colts are interviewing Bengals OC Brian Callahan and Cowboys DC Dan Quinn today. I'm Andrew Bowden.
We are CBS Sports Radio, and our Twitter handle is @CBS Sports Radio.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto.
Presto.
Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
It's incredible. After using Babbel, I'm ready to start having real conversations in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Babbel. Évidemment. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Experience the future of connectivity with Spectrum One. You get Spectrum Internet, delivering the fastest speeds in the nation for $49.99 a month. Advanced Wi-Fi for enhanced privacy and security, free for 12 months. And a Spectrum mobile line with unlimited talk, text, and data, plus nationwide 5G, free for 12 months. That's Spectrum One. Visit Spectrum.com or your local Spectrum store today. Offer subject to change. Valid for qualified residential customers only. Service not available in all areas. Restrictions apply.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together, millions of things for our planet. Resolve to recycle more. Recycle paper, bottles, and cans directly, and recycle old clothes by donating them. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Meet Joe A, Joe B,
Hello.
and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with Austin. And Joe C's Chase Banker is helping him budget his products.
Hey, man. Thanks for not knocking first.
Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more what's yours.
But I can still get you.
There's a better than 0% chance that it would have worked.
You
guys haven't been off the air, have you?
No, we don't do that.
Like, we've taken multiple breaks.
No, I mean like transmitter didn't work.
Not that we have been let know yet.
I don't think so. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head without bothering to look it up. We should be getting alerts on that kind of thing, but then I have to pull out my phone and
That's what their alarms are for.
Ugh, work.
You've given me a complex, Kevin. Leave me alone.
Evan. Complex about what? Another one?
Apparently, I nose whistle.
No.
Apparently,
That's
this
an
mic.
occasional issue.
This mic is overly sensitive
Uh-huh.
on StreamYard, so if I'm breathing anywhere near it, it will pick that up. So now I'm just staying away from the microphone. So Chris completely missed our first segment.
Which was
I requested aid with things that are pointy when I'm wearing station.
Lonzo
gear.
asked the best way to conceal his nipples in public.
okay.
And it went from Lonzo, I believe, genuinely asking a genuine question
Right.
to our text
exactly
line.
where you would think it would go.
Correct.
Yes, I mean, you know,
Correct.
but I got my answer. They're like compression shirts that you can buy.
Yeah.
That I can
They're
get.
nipple shields that you can-
Yeah, I'm not doing that. A compression shirt is sports related, and it works.
I am absolutely certain that you could get nipple shields shaped like footballs.
I don't know why you're absolutely certain.
Just because they come in so many different varieties, I can't imagine.
And how do you know
that's
that? I mean, I'll take your word for it.
So I don't know where the algorithm failed, but I'm pretty sure that Amazon thinks I'm a woman because it constantly recommends women's clothing to me. And those are just some of the things that come up every once in a while. It's like, hey, when you're putting that dress on, don't forget your nipple shields.
It's a fair point. If you're going to put the dress on, make sure they're.
Yeah, okay.
You know, that mid-hour break was exactly why you should all be watching the stream with us at facebook.com/thefanupstate or by searching and subscribing to The Rob Brown Show on YouTube or Twitch. Captain America Chris Evans down the hall just came in and said that in a recent visit to the Amazon website, that not only was he suggested a lovely, lovely dress to wear, but that Amazon also said to him, and if you purchase this dress, don't forget the pasties. Don't forget the nip guards. So apparently, the issue that Lonzo requested assistance with is a rather prevalent one that threatens multiple Americans.
Male or female.
Yeah, it is what it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump into the third hour of the radio broadcast. 844 FANFONE. 844 fan phone. 844-326-3663. Text us on our text line at 71307, 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, FAN, F-A-N, and we'll read them on the air unless they're about Lonzo's nipples, in which case I won't do that anymore. Gotten a lot of text about those two topics so far today. What is happening over there?
One of those things that are trending that I don't know if I should say or not. But with this kind of day,
What the hell?
You just have to wait for an hour.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's get into the National Football League. Divisional round playoffs are set to go this weekend. We have got tickets to be punched to the AFC and NFC championship game. We will open it up with the number 4 seeded Jacksonville Jaguars. They are on the road at the AFC's number 1 seed, Kansas City Chiefs. And we'll start with this one, Lonzo. The offense of the Kansas City Chiefs run through Patrick Mahomes. As much as I'd like to say it's predicated on excellent timing, etc., it's really not. When you think about big swing offenses, ordinarily you are thinking about timing and routes, chemistry between quarterback and receiver, and all those things happen in Kansas City. But Kansas City's offense is more about making you make mistakes and taking advantage of them, or even getting you slightly out of position and let Patrick Mahomes do Patrick Mahomes things. Behind the back, backwards, underhand, sidearm, whatever it takes. He gets it done to get it there. Does the week off, while Jacksonville figured out their offense in the second half against the LA Chargers, does the week off make you nervous that the offense might take some time to get going against Jacksonville? And if Jacksonville brings their second half offense from last weekend behind TL, maybe they build a little bit of a lead and make Kansas City play from behind at home.
All right, so I'm not nervous about that because Kansas City is used to being the number 1 team with the bye. They didn't get it last year, but they got it this year, so it's not like it's an unusual thing for them. I'm more concerned about Kansas City's defense because as well as they've done this year, way too many shootouts at the end, some of which where Patrick Mahomes has failed some on the last drive. It doesn't need to come down to that. The defense needs to play well enough to keep Trevor Lawrence and Etienne and those guys in check. If they don't, it's going to come down to another shootout, and it could be anybody's game. And it really, again, comes down to the defense. As far as the offense goes, I'm not worried about that so much. I think you could get a good dose of Pacheco running the ball because they do that more than people think. And that dude runs harder than probably anybody in football. He's just so violent when he runs the ball. It's a lot of fun to watch. And I'm just more concerned about the defense than I am anything.
And that's fair. I think that for Jacksonville, key number 1, and this may be a huge shock to you, a week after they threw 4 picks in the first half.
And still won, by the way.
Still won. Is don't turn the ball over. You cannot give Kansas City extra possessions.
Yeah, because it's almost guaranteed it's going to be points if you do that.
If you go worse than -1 in the turnover column, you're in trouble. Hell, if you go -1 in the turnover column, you're in trouble. But if you get to -2 in that column, I would be curious, Lonzo. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I'd be curious to know Kansas City's record when the opposition turns the ball over 1 or more times. If they're not undefeated, or scratch that, I should say when the opposing team has a negative turnover balance, right? In games where they line up and the other team has a minus turnover differential, I would be willing to bet if Kansas City ain't undefeated, they didn't lose more than maybe one of those. You cannot give them extra possessions. Trevor Lawrence has got to take better care of the football.
Yeah, but let's go back. You talk about turnovers. Trevor Lawrence really messed up. He did. And not only are players tweeting about it, the fans in Arrowhead are going to be ready. This is probably going to be the loudest it's been in a really long time. So you better hope that if you're a Jacksonville fan, they have their silent counts down and ready and all that kind of stuff, because there's probably going to be a lot of movement penalties on Jacksonville's side.
I will say
Trevor, you played in a pretty loud stadium in Death Valley. It's kind of loud, but it ain't nothing compared to what you're about to witness thanks to your words.
Yeah, with and I don't. Some people are going to take this as offensive. It's not meant to be. I have not been to Arrowhead Stadium yet. Is very high on the list of NFL stadiums I want to visit. Right. I've not been to Arrowhead, but I've seen it on TV. I've been to Clemson, obviously, a few times. Clemson gets a little loud in Death Valley on a Saturday. It ain't Arrowhead. I've been to Duval a few times. Duval at its best, filled with an ocean of Florida men, is not Arrowhead. It's just not. So probably not TL's best decision to go, it's probably not much louder, right? Just don't say it. What was he supposed to say, Rob? Nothing. Do you know what one of the best lessons I've ever learned in my life was? That sometimes the best thing to say is nothing at all.
Which is very, very difficult.
Yeah, sometimes it is. But when you learn that sometimes the best thing to say is nothing at all, it'll save you the problems. It's a good life lesson to learn. And I wonder if TL16 might learn that this week. Anyway, take care of the football. Do not turn the ball over. You cannot give the Chiefs extra spots. Defensively, pass rush. I read a write-up earlier this week from an art. I can't remember who it was that posted it, and I feel bad about it. No, I don't, because the take was bad. They said, as I do, Jacksonville's pass rush is key to this game. And the sentence they used was, sacks aren't essential. You just have to get Mahomes off of his spot. Do they understand that Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes because of what he does when he's off of his spot? Patrick Mahomes is known for the plays that he makes when you get him off of his spot. That's the frustrating part. You get Mahomes off of his spot, and then he still makes a big play that you think you got him dead to rights. And next thing you know, he's spinning through the air and throwing the ball behind his back for a touchdown to Travis Kelce. It's unbelievable. That's why he's Patrick Mahomes. The pass rush is important for Jacksonville. I argue quite the opposite. You need to contain Patrick Mahomes. I need Patrick Mahomes locked into the pocket in traffic. Don't let him get across your face. Jacksonville's defensive ends are the most important players on the field. Do not let him get across your face. On the flip side, for Kansas City, because of the fact that you were off this week, because of the fact that you may not have, it may take you a quarter, maybe a half to really get back into the rhythm that you were in the regular season. Maybe, we'll see. Offensively, though, just lean on Patrick Mahomes, right? Just lean on him. Let Patrick Mahomes dictate the offense. Don't try to force the offense. Lean on Patrick Mahomes. Let him do Patrick Mahomes things. And when he's doing Patrick Mahomes things, let the offense gel around him. Defensively, I'm bringing all the pressure at TL16. I want to replicate the first half against LA. I want to be in TL16's face. I want my defense to hold up signs on the sidelines with Trevor's quote about Arrowhead on them. I want Trevor Lawrence to be forced into those turnovers. Jacksonville take exceptionally good care of the ball. Kansas City, go bleeping get it. That being said, Zoe, I was incorrect about the result of pretty much, not the winner, but the way the winner would win in pretty much every game in the wild card round. I thought Tampa-Dallas would be an upset. It wasn't. I thought Herbert and the Chargers would beat Jacksonville close. They didn't. I got them all wrong. So let's do it again. See if I can do better this week. Kansas City, Jacksonville. Zoe, I think this game is a Kansas City win, but I think it's within one score. and I think it's within one score, because Jacksonville towards the end of the season has very much started to become a much more balanced offense. Travis Etienne's carries and therefore yards per carry have gone up. I don't think that they are going to try to force the ball. I think Jacksonville would be happy if they have a few 5, 6, 7, 8 minute drives in their back pocket when this game's over. Kansas City should win this game. And Zoe should never have a moment of stress in this game. But I do think that the score will be closer than a lot of folks think that it will be, because Jacksonville has possessions. As long as Kansas City's efficient with the football, you should be fine.
See, I don't have stress watching Kansas City. I've seen them score touchdowns in like 12 seconds. I mean, so because of that, it's hard to be stressed about it. I think if Trevor Lawrence hadn't said what he said, the game would be closer. But because of that, I really think the crowd is a factor, and I think Kansas City wins by a couple touchdowns.
Couple touchdowns. Okay, I like it. Taking the over and giving the points for Kansas City. We then go Saturday afternoon. That game, by the way, between Kansas City and Jacksonville is at 1:30 on Saturday. 1:30.
Are you sure?
I'm looking at it right this very second.
Yeah, see, I thought that too, and then Westwood One sent me something different, and so it's, yeah.
I will double check but verify. Jacksonville can't. Oh no, wait. ESPN's got it listed at 4:30.
Right. So yeah, the NFL page has it wrong.
Okay.
Yeah. I've had this conversation earlier in the week. So
whatever. That's very odd. All right. Chiefs by 8.5 is the line. Lonzo's taking the Chiefs and laying the points. I like the Jags inside a score, not enough to put money on it. Not enough to put money on it. Then Saturday evening, 8:15. You know what? I bet that time is Pacific time.
I guess that makes sense.
That time's Pacific time. 8:15 our time. New York is at Philly in the NFC divisional game. Philly right now is still waiting to see what Jalen Hurts is going to continue to look like in the playoffs. The Giants last week saw Danny Dimes be very considerate with the football, very efficient, very intelligent, phenomenal job reading offenses, breaking them down pre-snap. That's why I said earlier this week, I think Danny Dimes earned himself another contract as the starting QB of the New York Giants. I don't think he's going anywhere. But I kind of want to see Saquon Barkley break out this game. I kind of want to see them start to run the ball more consistently. I want to see New York, running the ball, making it to where Danny Dimes does not have to be the primary playmaker. Let Saquon do his thing in this one. And if Philly starts to get over aggressive, because they will, Philly loves to stack into a heavy box when you're giving them a dose of running back. If Philly starts to stack heavy box, then I'm happy to let Danny Dimes roll out and use the legs. Get to the outside, make them chase you down with pursuit angles, find guys down the field. That's the direction I'm going in. Defensively for New York, just limit Philly's run game. Make Jalen Hurts beat you with a big air day. I like Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts has a genuine argument at MVP this year despite missing games. When he went down, Gardner stepped in. The Eagles lost a couple, including to the Saints. It was a bad look. When Jalen was in there, that's a 13-win football team. But if I am New York, I am making them beat me through the air. Stop them in the run game. Make Jalen Hurts hit the deep shot, big play on you. Defensive backs, let nobody behind you. Do not bust any coverages. We are going to throw extra guys to take away the run and make Jalen do his thing. We know that there are guys like Devontae that are man-to-man uncoverable. So I'm going to drop back into the zone. I'm going to play a deep, probably cover 2, with the cornerbacks having a little bit more room to cover up underneath so we don't get beat deep. I'm going to throw extra guys into the box to stop the run. It's that simple for me. All of that being said, this game, I am likely going to lean on the under, and I'm likely going to lean on the New York cover. The play right now is Eagles at 7.5. So I'm going to take the Giants to cover. Don't throw sharp, pointy rocks at me, Chris Lewis, if you're listening. I'm going to take the Eagles to win at home.
See, this I've been struggling with this one. This all comes down to Hurts and how bad is he hurt? And he's hurt pretty bad. And they're not even trying to hide the fact that he still has a lot of pain in his throwing shoulder and that he's just going to try to work through it. You know, when you hear it's one thing when it's your non-throwing shoulder, but it's your throwing shoulder and you haven't played in a few games. There's going to be stiffness. You're going to be in pain, and they can inject it. They can do all that kind of stuff. But the one thing about it is he's not going to run the same way because he's going to be tentative about getting hit in that shoulder.
Sure.
And you got to do what you were saying earlier. You got to dare him to throw deep because if he's in as much pain as they say he is, he's going to struggle with being accurate throwing the ball deep. I like to the Giants to put a lot of pressure on him, blitzes everything they can on Jalen Hurts because they know if he goes out, they're going to win that game. They're going to win that game, and so I'm going with the Giants to win this game. I think it's going to be a close game, but I think the Giants win this game because I think Hurts' injury is a lot worse than they're saying. I mean, the fact that they're coming out and saying that he's in pain, you don't do that. You usually say, he's got some discomfort, but he's going to work through it. They're not doing that. They're coming out and they're saying that he's hurting pretty bad. And that's saying, hey, here's your target right here. And whether you like it or not, if you find out someone has an injury, you're going after that injury.
You may not be wrong. May not be wrong. This is the least confident pick of the weekend for me. Jacksonville, Kansas City, I'm pretty comfortable KC. New York, Philly, I'm leaning Philly. But it is my least comfortable pick. When we come back, we got 2 Sunday games. Cincinnati is at Buffalo, 3 p.m. on Sunday. Dallas is at San Francisco at 6:30. We'll break both of those games down next. Then we'll hit Twitter on the way out the door on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate.
Analysis and discussion every weekday at 6 on the DA Show, only on the Fan Upstate.
Weather Center, here's the upstate's best trusted forecast on the Fan Upstate. Sunny skies today with a high around 61. Fairfield tonight partly cloudy at 34. Saturday partial sunshine develops high around 52. And Sunday a chance for rain showers, cloudy high at 45. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Bluchinsky on the Fan Upstate. Currently, it's 52.
And now, Mark Ryan's Morning Sports Fan.
You know, nationally, this edition did not make as big of a splash as it did locally. But here in the state of South Carolina, Shane Beamer, a couple of days after early signing day, getting Lenoris Sellers, state champion from South Florence, was, in my opinion, one of the best low-key recruiting moves any coach made. Lenoris, in my opinion, is the best player in the state. And now he joins an insanely talented QB room at South Carolina. That features Spencer Rattler, Tanner Bailey, Braden Davis, Colton Gaufield, Luke Doty, Dante Reno, and now the aforementioned Sellers. Folks, he's already 6'3", 215. He's already got a body to play today. And I think he's going to be a surefire starter moving forward for the Gamecocks in the next couple of seasons. I'm Mark Ryan.
Full Sides with Mark Ryan this afternoon, 3 to 7 on the Fan Upstate. 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg, and on the Odyssey app.
For adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis or candidates for systemic or phototherapy, now there's Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Nothing in me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin, that's my new play. Nothing is everything.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi
Skyrizi, serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine. With Skyrizi, you can achieve
Shouldn't make me laugh like it is, but it was just tweeted Homer Simpson in a batting cage. I don't know why it's so funny, even without hearing it.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who miss the fairway all day and still pull out the big stick. The type of guys who will always prefer to be behind the grill than in front of the camera. And the men who never let their friends forget about a high school nickname. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Who wants to settle for a single TV? With more TVs, bigger screens, plus our fabulous scenic views, there's more to watch at Twin Peaks.
The NFL playoffs live on Odyssey.
World's largest McDonald's closes down after 900 police calls and a viral raccoon fight.
Ooh,
What a line.
viral
What a
raccoon fight.
line. LeBron has faced 9 father-son duos during his career. That's insane.
And on sale now, the 2023 Upstate Golf Cart gets you a round of golf at 9 premier Upstate courses. And it's
Chris Lewis is issuing you a virtual high five for your pick of the G-Men.
I accept it and appreciate it. I don't have the best record at picking though, so I mean, there's that.
Sponsored by Taco Bell. Taco Bell has $2 grilled chicken burritos that come in 2 bold flavors: Chipotle Ranch and Salsa Verde. They're bursting with grilled chicken and delicious. Get your $2 grilled chicken burrito at participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last. Price and participation vary. Tax extra.
Now, CBS Sports Radio.
Here's how to get in the game. On your radio at 97.7 FM, 1330 AM, Greenville. 97.1 FM, 950 AM, Spartanburg.
Listen on your phone, download the Odyssey app, and search The Fan Upstate.
There's a whole lot more to know about sound if you really want to go into the subject.
Your smart speaker. Just say play 97 The Fan Upstate. On your HD radio at WFBC HD3. Just one more time. And on your computer at
FanUpstate.com.
More than the scores. Real sports.
All right, let's take a look at Sunday's games. We open it up at 3 p.m. when the Cincinnati Bengals are on the road at the Buffalo Bills. And this one is my favorite game of the weekend. This is the one I'm most looking forward to. Jags Chiefs. If I thought Jacksonville had a better chance, I'd probably be more in on that game. Just for the storylines. But as far as football goes, this should be the best game. Cincinnati is a 4.5-point dog in this game. They've got Buffalo favored. So what can Cincinnati do if they want to stop Josh Allen and the Bills? Step number 1, and this is my entire key to the game. You have got to remove the Bills' run game entirely. You have got to make Josh Allen be a hero. Do not let Singletary and Cook and Hines get going. Take that run game away from them entirely. Stack extra men. Start throwing an extra player at the running back on plays if you have to. Take the run game away. Listen, I think we all know that Josh Allen can be a very good quarterback. But JA-17 last week was questionable, right? The Bills last week got themselves into trouble. And granted, of Josh Allen's picks, I truly believe they were both NHFs. Of the fumble, I think the offensive line was a complete letdown for Buffalo last week. But if you're Cincinnati, that's what you got to bank on, right? That offensive line looked bad last week. So I'm going to send everybody. I am going to throw mixed looks at them. I'm going to be disguising rushes. I'm going to be bringing a lot of different twists and stunts across the front. I am going to be bringing a little bit of everything up front against Buffalo, and I am going to make Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs beat me. Now, they did have some help because Gabe Davis last week stepped up and went bananas when Cole Beasley was struggling just a little bit. And we all know Stephon Diggs has one of those ridiculous catches in him somewhere. I am going to make Josh Allen be the hero that everybody wants to believe that Josh Allen is in this game. I am swarming the line. I am removing the run game. J.A., if you want to beat me, you're going to have to throw for about 350 and 4 touches. On the flip side for Cincinnati, the exact opposite. Run the ball. Run the ball. I want to run the ball enough that where Joey B, when he drops back 27 times tops, when Joey B drops back, he is doing it against a primary run defense from Buffalo. Buffalo without Von Miller is much more susceptible to the run. So I'm going to run the ball at them. I am going to try to demand that Buffalo play a tighter box. They may not go large, but I'm going to make them play a tighter box up front, walk guys up on the line, and I am going to try to utilize Joe Mixon and Samaje Perine in enough and I'm not just talking about power ISO run up the gut. I'm talking, give me some end arounds, give me some pitch outs, give me some off tackle stuff. Just kind of throw different run looks at them so that when they start looking run, that's when I'm dropping Joey B back and trying to let him go off. Cincinnati came out hot against Buffalo in the Damar Hamlin game that got suspended. Joey B was tossing the ball around, but they were doing that because Buffalo saw a couple of runs right up early in the beginning of that drive, went to play that, and Joey B torched him. On the flip side, if I'm Buffalo, stop the run, make Joey B be the hero. As funny as it is to have two quarterbacks, Joe Burrow, who played in a Super Bowl last year, Josh Allen, who was very close to doing so, two guys that folks have, and I think rightfully so, fallen in love with as big-time, big-playing QBs. I think the likeliest outcome of this game, Zoe, is that one of these two quarterbacks is off their game. The other team takes advantage of that by stopping the run game from saving them and winning. Buffalo has one big advantage here. Cincinnati's OL is banged up. Very similar situation to Kansas City last year, a team that I think was probably a deserved Super Bowl contender last year. 2 years ago, but got in trouble because you had what? Both offensive tackles were out and a guard. Cincinnati's much the same way. If you're Buffalo, you have got to take advantage of that. Kick some field goals. Don't screw it up in the red zone. Make Joey B be a hero.
All right. So a couple weeks ago when they matched up before the Hamlin collapse, there was an air in that stadium that Cincinnati was going to dominate that game. They absolutely were. They had already started doing that. So Cincinnati doesn't need to change anything. They know what it takes to beat this team. And the other thing is, if you look at the offensive linemen being down, most quarterbacks that really would hurt them, Joe Burrow, not so much. He's played behind the worst offensive line probably in the history of all mankind
for like 2 years now.
Since he's been in the league. So it's not like, oh no, what do I do? My offensive line isn't working. His offensive line, this is probably the best line he's had this year, and they're still not that great. So he's used to, he can get sacked 10 times and he's still going to be fine because he's used to it. So I'm not really worried about the line as much as I am Josh Allen playing to his potential. Because right now, here's the thing. Josh Allen has been built up to this next man, and it hasn't happened yet. Buffalo was supposed to be there last year. Oh, they lost in overtime. All the whiny stuff. This is the media. The sports media wants Buffalo to be there. They absolutely do. but they didn't think about a team that might be in the way. And I'm not talking about Kansas City. I'm talking about the Cincinnati Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals are going to finish what they started a couple of weeks ago, and they're going to win this game. And then all the Buffalo fans are going to find some whiny reason why they lost and why they were supposed to be there and they weren't this year. The man screwed them over somehow. That's what's going to happen. But Cincinnati's going to win this game.
I am bouncing back and forth on this one. I'm leaning Buffalo. I really like Cincinnati. I love Joe Burrow. I like the Bengals. I like the blue collarness of them. I hate that they do the dumb who dey thing, but that's just personal.
Who dey, who dat? I mean,
yeah, who dey came first.
Yeah,
right? It's ours first.
Why is one dumb and the other one not?
Because ours isn't.
Okay, all right.
That's why.
Yeah.
I'm leaning Bills in this one because not only are you dealing with a banged up offensive line for Cincinnati, and yes, I agree with Lonzo. This is nothing new for Joe Burrow. I agree with that. Not only are you talking about 2 starters on the offensive line banged up, but potentially having to move a couple of other ones around, offensive linemen around, to get out of this. Can I tell you the guy that I think ultimately cost them the game? The Bengals are starting Eli Apple. Eli Apple could and should be replaced with an actual piece of burnt toast, and you'd have the exact same defense. Josh Allen is going to make 2 to 3 big plays because Eli Apple is out of his spot. And when he does, the Bills are going to get this one done. Give me Buffalo at home over Cincinnati. And then we wrap it up. 6:30 p.m. on Sunday, an old powerhouse matchup as Dak and the boys head out west to take on Brock Purdy and his San Francisco 49ers.
Have you watched it yet? Have you watched it?
No, I forgot to.
Dude, you got to watch it.
I'll watch it during the break. I'll watch it during the break. Brock Purdy and his Niners at home. Listen, I think we are all waiting for what we love to call inevitable Dallas Cowboy collapse because, it happens. But Dallas, if they were going to collapse, last week would have been the time for it to happen. In fact, that's what I was banking on. Last week on the road, the lowly Buccaneers, Tom Brady, and what could have, if he had success, been his ride into the metaphorical sunset. And they didn't. Instead, not only did they not, but they went out there and won a game easily in which their kicker missed 4 PATs. The fact that they left 4 PATs on the board and still won conclusively makes me wonder if Dallas really has turned the corner. That being said, San Francisco, the reason Brock Purdy is successful is not because Brock Purdy's a great quarterback. I'm not saying he's not.
So he could be.
He might be. But the reason San Francisco is successful is because Shanahan has drawn up a remarkably creative offense that utilizes Christian McCaffrey the way that he needs to be. What was my number one chief complaint with Matt Rule when he was in charge at Carolina and McCaffrey was there? McCaffrey would get 25 carries in a game, and 17 of them were off center or off guard. In San Francisco, they're utilizing McCaffrey as the weapon that he is. And oh, by the way, when you're doing that, it opens the field up for that Debo guy. He ain't bad neither. San Francisco is too creative offensively for Dallas. And even with a very good Dallas defense, very good, an underappreciated Dallas Cowboy defense, San Francisco has too much speed to beat them laterally, which is where I think Dallas is lacking. San Francisco is going to win this football game, and they're going to do it about 28-17.
Yeah, San Francisco is going to win, and don't blame it on ineptitude of Dallas, because that's what a lot of people love to dog Dallas. Yeah, see, Dallas is being Dallas. Dallas is going up against a better team. That's really what it comes down to. Best defense in football, and offense that's inventive and knows how to utilize the weapons that it has, and is able to win with Mr. Irrelevant. I mean, that's how good the coaching in this case and the players, the coaching and the players, it's all matched up. It's a perfect scenario for San Francisco. I love what they're doing with McCaffrey. I love seeing that guy get the shine because he is one of the best running backs in football, and he has been for a while. When he's healthy, he's amazing talent that you can do so much with. And already having Deebo Samuel, now you got Christian McCaffrey. Just think of how inventive you could be with both those guys, not to mention the rest of the receiving core, which is really good. I just don't see what Dallas can do to win this. And it's not going to come down to no extra point. It's just not. I think San Francisco has really long drives, controls the ball. Dallas is going to have to be in a hurry and against the best defense in football, and they're just not going to be able to handle it. San Francisco wins this going away.
Yeah, this is we talked about the least confident game that I have, the game that I'm least confident in. This is the most confident game of the weekend. This is the one that I'm most comfortable saying I got the winner on this one. By the way, you know what the line on this game is? I'm tempted to reach back in the archives and have you break out the free money alert sounder. San Francisco, Lonzo. I'll let you decide if you want to hit the free money alert sounder or not, if you know where it is, because I don't think we've used it.
Yeah, that's really what it comes down to. I may have removed it from the hotkeys.
I don't know if you want to find it and break it out or not. When I tell you the line, I think you might. San Francisco minus at home, by the way, 3.5.
Really? They think this is going to be that close of a game.
Now that is yesterday when I put this down. Let me check it out and see if that line has moved. But the last I saw it, San Francisco at home was minus 3.5 in this game. That line is currently sitting at, it's moved to -4. San Francisco -4 at home over the Dallas Cowboys. Wee woo.
I'm glad I didn't find it because we wouldn't have witnessed your wee woo.
You just clip that. We'll use that next time.
That works for me.
Ladies and gentlemen, free money alert of the weekend. San Francisco 49ers -4 at home over the Dallas Cowboys. I am good with it. Real good with it. See, are there any prop bets in this I like? Brock Purdy. How about this one, Lonzo? Brock Purdy prop bet. Over under 5.5 rushing yards at -120. 5.5? Just one good run? You can get that, right? Over under 1.5 passing touchdowns for Brock Purdy. I might take the under on that and play the McCaffrey over. Here's McCaffrey's prop bets. Receiving yards, over under 35.5. I'm going to take the over. He pops 1. I'm going to take the over. Over under 65.5 rushing yards. I'm going to take the over there too. Rushing attempts, over under 15.5. I don't know if I'm getting that one. Over under 4.5 receptions. You can get the over at +100. I might put some coin on that at +100. That's not bad. Even money. McCaffrey. Here's my favorite play of the weekend, Lonzo. Favorite play of the weekend. Christian McCaffrey, over 57.5 rushing yards and 1 touchdown. You're getting that at +150. So money and a half. If he gets 58 rushing yards and a touchdown, you get money and a half. I think I'm playing that. That feels like a good one for me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a break. When we come back, this week, though we have not really gotten an opportunity to talk about it all that much, this week, and I will not end on a low note, has had a couple of sports tragedies that have played out. Lost a couple of high-level athletes off the field. And I want to address those real quick, and then we'll get out of here for the weekend, hopefully on a high note. Rob Lonzo and you, The Rob Brown Show rolls on next. It is the Fan Upstate.
for tomorrow night. New York quarterback Daniel Jones.
By no means are we satisfied with just getting here, and that's been the approach this week.
On Sunday, the on the Fan Up Stadium. Download
The bitterness between Apple and I don't care. Eli Apple's just a gross dude. I just don't like him. All right. Not a lot of athletes. I mean, there are some athletes I disagree with. I'm I wouldn't live my life that way, but I don't like Eli Apple. I just don't. And I can't and I won't. None of this will matter when Cincinnati is hosting Jacksonville in a championship game. Look, there's a part of me that has a soft spot in my heart for the Jags. I'm not going to lie about that.
If you want to save money and start the year right, Staples has you covered. I need everything to restock my business. File folders, break room supplies, even business cards. Staples has you covered with big savings on everything you need for your home or office. And now at Staples, Rewards members get $30 back by a Staples store bonus when they spend $100. That's $30 to use toward everything from ink to tech. Save big right now at Staples, the working and learning store. Rewards members only. Store bonus redeemable in store only. Offer ends 1/21.
They say they'll get your biggest tax refund. Jackson Hewitt says your biggest tax refund guaranteed, and a chance to double your tax refund. Thousands in weekly prizes during the Double Your Refund sweepstakes. Your biggest refund times 2. Twice the money, so forget about them. File your taxes on the double at Jackson Hewitt today. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to U.S. residents 18 or older.
He says he thought he hit send. But, it's always a possibility.
For the record, I have done that.
Yeah, me too.
I have absolutely typed out a full text, thought I hit send and missed.
Yeah, I'm guessing he
Because
probably.
as soon as I hit send, I close out the text.
I'm guessing there's probably a text from someone else that prompted that because
Yeah.
someone else texting me just about 10 minutes ago and asked, have I heard anything yet? Again, I'm also on the air. So, there's that.
There is that.
I'm also a well-known multitasker, so I cannot use that as an excuse. Maybe next time we'll just call him on the air. Hey, you're on the air. I just want to know, are you going to show up for work today? We're all about embarrassment for motivation. Works wonders with some people.
And now another no-brainer money-saving tip from Progressive.
Marcus, what happened?
I was changing my oil and I spilled some on the floor.
Oh, we use these $50 bills to wipe it up. Perfect.
Yay, I get to have a normal Friday. Maybe.
Maybe.
Well, I'm done with everything. So since I was here 11 hours yesterday, I went ahead and finished all my other work.
We tonight, when I get off of work, are going to Georgia to spend the evening at the Chateau Elan. I don't know where or what
Chateau
that is.
Elan.
The Chateau Elan.
Oh.
There is a winery and distillery there.
Does that mean Lonzo's house? Chateau Elan?
Chateau Elo, Ezo.
Is this like eating establishment or is it more?
It's a hotel slash
okay.
winery slash distillery.
You'll be partaking of the grapes.
All right, final segment of the Rob Brown Show for the week. This week has been sad to some degree in the world of sports, as we have had a couple of tragedies. We were still kind of dealing with the fallout of seeing Damar Hamlin, fortunately resuscitated, but effectively die on the football field. We had the University of Georgia football player and recruiting coach lose their lives in a car accident early in the week, which was, heartbreaking. Guy had just finished celebrating the Natty when he passes away. And then yesterday, Charlotte FC soccer player Anton Walks dies at age 25, involved in a boating accident down in Florida. There was a 2-vessel accident near Miami. Walks was unconscious, later received CPR after being transported to shore, and passed away due to his injuries later on. If you have been following the story, David Tepper was supposed to meet with Sean Payton today in New York, but that meeting has been postponed because Tepper is at the celebration of life of Anton Walks taking place in Charlotte today. And, every now and then, life provides us with these tragic and unfortunate reminders that life is fragile. Even top-tier athletes can sometimes lose their lives under tragic circumstances early when they are at the peak of their physical perfection and performance. So I hope that while they are tragic and while they are lives that can never get back and were taken too soon for both of those young men and nearly Damar Hamlin as well, I hope, if nothing else, that we can all take them as reminders that we get one crack at this thing. We get one crack. We are all on a pitch timer that we have no idea how many days are left on it. I hope that you will take the time this weekend to send that extra text to somebody you've been thinking about, to make that phone call to somebody you care about. I hope that you will take the few seconds or minutes or hopefully maybe even hours out of your day to reach out to somebody that matters to you, to spend a couple of minutes letting them know that they are important, that they have value, that they matter to you, and they matter to the world, because you never know who might need that phone call, who might need that text. We got these reminders. They are sad. They are tragic. And I hope they will inspire all of us to take just a minute to tell the folks around us that they are important to us.
And now the Rob Brown Show presents Twitter Trending Topics.
All right, you said you wanted to go out on a high note.
Want to go out on a high note?
Well, let's go out kind of the same way we came in. The first thing that's trending
is nipples.
No, it's golden showers is trending.
Lonzo,
I knew it would be uncomfortable too.
What
but it's trending, dude.
Listen,
it just is.
I just want to say this. There's two parts of this. Number one, if you'd have told me before this show started that we would have had references to both nipples and golden showers on the show, I would have thought to myself, who commanded the Rise Guys takeover of the show? Right? But I certainly, of all the guesses, would not have said, yeah, Lonzo is going to initiate those conversations.
Taking out of context, I would see why you would think that there's, but the first thing was a legitimate question, which has been answered, and this thing is trending.
I get it.
And you saw me earlier struggling with it. It just suddenly started trending. Should I? But it's trending.
So I will say this, as I have mentioned many times on the show and will again. There is a beautiful power to just letting other people live their lives and not worry about how they impact you, because more often than not, they don't. All right. Now, if that's the thing you're into, and if you don't know what it means, don't Google it at work.
And by the way, I didn't look it up. I didn't click on it.
Yeah.
I'm not
you
clicking
know what
on
it
that.
means.
Yes, I do, but I'm not clicking on that.
Don't Google it at work. Second off, if that's your thing and you have found another consenting adult,
Do you really need to go down this road?
I do.
Okay, if you say
have
so.
found another consenting adult who wishes to participate in that particular activity with you,
No, don't do that.
then that's your life. Just, keep it off my shoes.
That's just, oh God, really? Really? All right, we got time for one more. This one's personally funny to me, but it may not be to some people in the audience. Death Valley 2 is trending.
You know what? I'll let you handle this one if you want to.
Did you know that where Clemson plays football is Death Valley 2? I don't know if you knew that or not. I did. I already knew that, or faux Death Valley or fake Death Valley or,
Hey guys, thanks for listening. Sincerely, y'all do matter to me. You do have value. You are important, and you are very, very much appreciated as both friends and listeners. I appreciate you guys and everything you do for the show. Hey, do us a favor. Tell your friend about it. Tell your family about it. Let's keep growing the show. We'll be back on Monday to do just that. For the great one, I'm Rob Brown, headed to Chateau Elan for the weekend, going to live my best 1%er life. We'll see you back here Monday for another edition of the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate later, brother. Texter said it's a literal stream of consciousness.
Trying to figure out which made me blush more. I don't know.
Beautiful. Thank you guys sincerely for hanging out with us. We will see you all back here on Monday. You're the best. Goodbye.